between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Florida Marlins. Playoff implications on the line as far as the wild card is concerned. Both teams trying to find positioning in the wild card in the National League. That's Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to the broadcast booth here at Dolphin Stadium. Good matchup tonight. Ricky Nolasco gets a start for the Marlins, and for the Cardinals, their former closer here in Florida, now with the Cardinals, it's Braden Looper.
Two pitchers that are very similar in numbers this year. As you can see, both of them are very stingy in the walk department. They both allowed basically the same amount of home runs, earned runs. Pitching innings pitched is about the same there. Only Nolasco has 11 wins to Looper's 10.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the closers in this series. Greg for the Marlins, and for the Cardinals, it is Chris Perez. What those two mean to their franchises. Young closers when we come back on FSN. Baseball coming up tonight on FSN Midwest, about 10 minutes away or so from our first pitch as we get you set. The Marlins and the Cardinals here in game number 3. The first two nights of this series, young closers. Let's start with Chris Perez and what he means right now to the Cardinals.
Well, right now he is the salvation. Having somebody pitch at the end of the ball game, he picked up his second save of his big league career. Kevin Gregg is a 2-year closer here in Florida Marlins. He's got a good fastball and a very good off-speed pitch.
Isringhausen pitched last night, not in that closer's role. Let's talk a little bit about this bullpen right now for Tony La Russa. You have McClellan in the 8th inning, Ora Franklin, then you get to Perez, but still Tony is not, handing over that title of closer to Chris Perez just yet.
He doesn't want to anoint him the closer, but I think we're going to see him more times than not get the 9th inning.
Well, a guy that's been a surprise this year, no doubt, has been Ryan Ludwig. One home run away from 30 here in this 2008 campaign. A closer look at Ludwig when we come back. Once again for game 3, Ryan Ludwig in the lineup tonight for Tony La Russa, also a part of our Ford Keys as he has moved into the top 5 in the National League in RBIs after 3 last night in exclusive company. The top 4 are guys that have been established. Ludwig now, Al, finds himself in exclusive company.
87 RBIs this year. In his career, 96. He's 30 years of age, but with so many injuries, his total of RBIs in the past is only 96. He's had a remarkable year. He's already surpassed home runs over his career totals coming into this year. The National League All-Star has been a pleasant surprise.
A different look for Tony La Russa's lineup tonight for game number 3. Our starting lineups, first pitch coming up next on FSN Midwest. Cardinals baseball from Florida on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the superior drinkability of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town with 26 locations to serve you. You ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The St. Louis Cardinals at 10 games above the 500 mark, 66 and 56. The Florida Marlins with the win last night, 63 and 57. We've been asked about what does a bench coach do? A lot of this, a lot of teaching going on throughout the game, and in preparation for tonight's game, you see Joe Patini, the bench coach, going over defensive positioning with Adam Kennedy, and Kennedy is at second base tonight. Ricky Nolasco, the starter for the Florida Marlins, a right-hander, our Rico starter, as we just showed you moments ago. Very close numbers to that of Braden Looper, the Cardinals starter. And overall, he's 11 and 7.
Came into this season as a 25-year-old with only 12 major league wins, and he has a chance to equal that number here tonight. It's been a pleasant surprise, and he's really going out there and pitching effective baseball. Doesn't walk many, and he has an assortment of pitches.
Cardinals saw a lot of Nolasco this spring, and they'll take him on in regular season play. A year ago, Pujols was hitting .313. Now he's hitting .345 with identical power numbers. He's in that 3rd spot in the lineup for Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa, many decades as a major league manager, and along the way with him has been Dave Duncan. You screen the right to Tony's left. Over 2,400 wins for Tony La Russa. On the other side, second-year man. And Tony talked about it recently in an article here locally. Great respect for Freddie Gonzalez because he saw him in spring training.
Yeah, he got to know him quite well the last couple of years. They share the spring training complex with the Marlins, but Freddie's been around a long time. He's paid his dues. He's been here as a third base coach. He went to Atlanta, worked under Bobby Cox, came back here and got the managerial job, and he's one of those guys that you really have great respect for, and you really hope he succeeds.
Aaron Miles is in the leadoff spot for the Cardinals. We really haven't talked about it during the pregame show or obviously at the start of our game here tonight, but Miles gets the leadoff spot, a switch hitter. And Tony was saying before the game, as Aaron looks at a strike, he wanted to separate Schumacher and Kennedy. If those two are going to be in the lineup, then you have back-to-back lefties. Kennedy hitting ninth, you'd have Schumacher in the top spot. And with three lefties, Tony wanted to separate the two. Makes sense.
Make it a little too easy for that other manager.
Line drive, base hit for Miles into left center field. The defense for the Marlins is not a good one. A team that has the most errors in the National League and the worst fielding percentage. Willingham at left, Amezaga at center. Gonzalez gets the start in right, his first start in the series. Jorge Cantu over at third. Hanley Ramirez with 20 errors, he's at short. Dan Uggla at second. Mike Jacobs at first. And John Baker is behind the plate. So here's the normal leadoff man, Skip Schumacher, with Pujols on deck.
93 total errors for the Marlins and 37 between shortstop and third base.
They can produce offensively, especially with the power numbers, but catch and throw, that's a little different story. 1-0 pitch here to Schumacher, with Miles leaning towards second and diving back into first. I thought it was interesting to hear what Pujols had to say about Hanley Ramirez. In his mind, Albert was saying that Ramirez eventually will move to third base because he feels his body is going to get bigger. He'll fill out that frame and move to third base with his power numbers. And the Marlins have talked about Ramirez maybe eventually moving to center field.
And Hanley wants to stay at shortstop, but he made 25 errors 2 consecutive years, the last 2 years, and he's already got 20 errors this year. So
1-0 pitch, and he's on his way to becoming a 30-30 man in the leadoff spot for the Marlins.
Yeah, it was interesting in last night's game, and he had the big 3-run home run in the second inning to give them their 4 runs. But he had been 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position, so he came through in the clutch.
And on the year, 193.
Sure.
1 ball, 1 strike on Skip Schumacher. Just underway here in Florida. Pitch out and undoing. Tony La Russa said last night's offensive side of things for the Cardinals was unacceptable. He said that was a game we should have won. Yeah. Go up by 3 runs and have a rookie on the ropes like that.
Well, yeah, he was very upset about that and still carrying over today. And Joe Patini told me about a little study he's done.
2-1 pitch.
When you're ahead by 3 runs, it doesn't matter when you have, but anytime a team is ahead by 3 runs, the winning percentage is 92%.
Wow.
When you're ahead by 4 runs, it's 98%.
Now, is that league wide or just with the Cardinals?
That's kind of like league wide. But he said already the Cardinals have lost 4 games with 4 runs or more lead.
2-2 pitch on its way. Schumacher into shallow center field. Amezaga with 2 hands makes the catch. Miles back to first, and Pujols digs in. Looked like Patini had a couple of stopwatches going.
Time flies by.
Pujols has been quiet in this series. There's Joe Patini. Albert 0 for 6. He had the first game 3 strikeout night. And the Cardinals are waiting for him to explode.
It's pretty good if you can time the pitcher's release point and also the catcher's release point.
I'm assuming that's what he's trying to do. 1 out, first pitch to Albert Pujols. I asked Tony La Russa about Albert's elbow yesterday and how he's been dealing with it. He said, knock on wood, everything is okay. It does flare up at times, and you have to wonder, any time that Pujols struggles, is there something physically wrong? Because it's just so few and far between. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Albert. A couple of sliders and missed outside, 2-0. Ryan Ludwig on deck. Last 3 games, 1 for 9 with 3 strikeouts, and that was in game 1 of this series. Cardinals in desperate need of a win. Chicago has already posted another win this afternoon. Their day-night doubleheader with Atlanta. Jim Edmonds, a double and a 2-run homer in that game. 89 degrees our game time temperature. 2-0 pitch to Pujols. 2-1. You wonder if Pujols is just afraid to let it rip, Al, and I say that just because on some of the swings he looks to hesitate just a bit, not the normal, real aggressive, compact swing that we see from Albert. Would you agree with that?
Well, a little bit. It's just trying to figure out what's wrong with him, because rarely do you ever get an opportunity to talk about a 1 for 9 or a couple games where he doesn't have a hit. It's that little adage, you don't ever worry about Albert, but when he's not hitting, you have to worry about him because he's so important.
Just missing outside, 3-1.
First game of the series, it really looked like he didn't see the ball well because we saw some awkward swings from him.
The Cardinals want to start Miles on a 3-1 pitch. Short lead at first. There he goes, and Pujols pulls it foul. 3-2.
It's almost an obvious situation with Albert batting because he has such a good batting eye and rarely strikes out.
Start that runner, you avoid the double play, he puts one in the gap, and you score. Cardinals have Looper going tonight. Chris Carpenter has been officially scratched from the start on Friday night. And apparently he will rejoin the club this evening at some point here in Florida. 3-2 now. And the next two, Albert. Get out of play and foul. Just shaking his head. See, he's frustrated. He's gotten some pitches to hit in this series and has done nothing with it.
I mean, that's at this stage of the game, the year, you almost think about, and you really don't have the luxury of resting him. But when a great hitter sees pitches and they can't really put them into play, and he knows he's not, he's tired.
And Pujols pulls it foul out in front of that pitch. Partner, we're at game number 123 tonight. It's winding down. You need wins.
You need wins. He's right. Doesn't matter when or how, but the Cardinals are 10 games over 500. They're 4 back in the wild card race, and Tony's goal is to be 20 games above 500.
Cardinals have 2 games remaining with Milwaukee. I think now you have to say you focus on the wild card and don't really worry about the Cubs. 3-2 pitch again. Pujols pops it up. Baker will give it a look, and it's out of play into the seats.
Yeah, I've got just more of a more simplistic answer to you, and that's just win tonight's game.
Yeah.
Win tonight's game, and everything else will take care of itself.
Jeff Suppan, a winner last night from Milwaukee. They'll play in San Diego later tonight. 3-2 the count on Pujols. This has turned into a lengthy at bat. Sparse crowd again comes alive. Miles off with the pitch. The 3-2 is a base hit into right field. Aaron around second base on his way to third, and Pujols picks up his first hit in this series. We saw Troy Gloss almost getting hit the other day on a Molina, what we thought was a hit and run at the time, and Jose Oquendo was telling me it wasn't a hit and run. It was just a great piece of hitting by Molina to recognize that Gloss was off with the pitch. How about that? First and third for Ludwig.
Albert, even with the base hit, critiquing his swing and not real pleased with it, but
well, he'll take the base hit.
He'll take that, but when you're a perfectionist and you want more.
As we showed you earlier, Ludwig is in the top 5 in RBIs. Ryan Howard and Carlos Lee each with 100. David Wright of the Mets with 93. And Ludwig pops it up with a runner at third and just one out. Ugla's got it. Big out. Well, he likes the ball down, but it looked to be a pitch that was down and away, and he didn't drive it.
Yeah. Velasco throws a lot of breaking pitches. He throws a lot of strikes. And I don't know if Ludwig thought he was going to get a little better pitch. A little bit out in front on it. Pops it up, and frustrating at bat.
A lot of people, of course, in this area very intrigued with Ricky Ankiel in the year that he's had. 22 home runs, 61 RBIs, and hitting .283. And a lot of people pulling for him here in Florida. There's the breaking ball and a strike. Rick returned to the starting lineup in this series. Basically, for 2 weeks, was used as a pinch hitter. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, and Ankiel with good numbers. Outfield is deep. Here comes an 0-1 pitch instead of check on Pujols over at first. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. A spacious center field. They're playing deep. The 0-1 pitch to Rick Ankiel. Hit down the left field line and out of play. Now he's in the hole, 0-2.
One of the things the Cardinal hitters are going to have to contend with is Velasco has the ability to really change speeds on his breaking pitch. And they feel he'll throw a lot more off-speed pitches to the Cardinal hitters tonight than what he normally does.
0-2 pitch. Got him. Cardinals will strand 2. Velasco, his first strikeout. The former Marlin, Looper to the mound when we come back. Cardinal fans here in South Florida. No scores. We move to the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the Marlins lineup, which really hasn't produced like it did in the first half here in the second half, but it is explosive. Jorge Cantu, their third baseman, his 5th year, batting .276 on his career, 65 home runs, nearly 300 driven in. Ramirez, Gonzalez, and Cantu here in the first. Then Jacobs, Ugla, and Willingham, Baker, Amezaga, and Velasco against the former closer of the Florida Marlins, our Rico starter with the Cardinals, Braden Looper.
And Looper has pitched very well his last 4 starts, ERA at 2.4, but just 1 win and 2 losses.
Needs run support. That's a tough play. Let him eat him up as Gloss can't come up with it, and the speed of Ramirez becomes a factor here in this first inning. Look at the Cardinals defensively. Around the Horn, as always, brought to you by Auto Tire. And Keel, Schumacher, Ludwig in the outfield. Just saw Gloss over at third, Miles at short, Kennedy at second, Pujols at first, LaRue is behind the plate. And let's take a look at the air by Troy Gloss. He let it play him.
Yeah, plays back on it, got an in-between hop, came up on him, and he commits his 5th error. Still has the best fielding percentage of any major league third baseman. But the Cardinals of late have committed an awful lot of errors.
And here is Luis Gonzalez. He looks at a strike. First start in this series.
What is that, 7 errors the last 3 games?
They had 3 in 1 game, 2 on 1 play by Ankiel the other night.
7 errors in the past 3 games plus tonight.
No Molina, so let's see if the Marlins want to be aggressive against Jason LaRue, the backup catcher.
Jason, throughout his career, has had a pretty good percentage of throwing out runners, but you're talking about Hanley Ramirez with 28 steals. So Freddie Gonzalez may want to make a statement and try and get an early lead.
Ramirez not going anywhere, and the pitch is hit out of play by Luis Gonzalez, the World Series hero with Arizona. His game-winning hit against Mariano Rivera.
Providing a lot of leadership with this young team here, the Florida Marlins, and just a class act on and off the field.
What's amazing, Looper, 201 appearances at Dolphin Stadium, only 1 outside of this one has been a start. 28 saves in 2003 when he was the closer. for the World Series champions. Cardinals, of course, dealt Looper to Florida, the deal that got them Edgar Renteria. Gonzalez, a high pop-up. Long way to go for Ryan Ludwig. Hit so high, plenty of time to get there. Yadier Molina with our Geico quote of the night. Talking about the running game. Not as many guys run on me, but I feel off. That's why I'm doing my stuff every day to work on it. I feel strong, just out of whack. And he's always working with Jeff Murphy, the bullpen catcher and one of the coaches for the Cardinals.
That's out of whack. We'll take it.
I agree with you. He'd love to pick up that first Gold Glove. One of the hardest to strike out in the league. He's been great in the clutch. And a terrific player over the years for Tony La Russa. Here's Jorge Cantu with 20 home runs. Molina getting the night off, and it's a period in which he's had a base hit in 15 of his last 16 starts. Hitting above 300.
Well, with the amount of off days.
Look at this.
Albert.
That rolls fair, and that's a heck of a move by Pujols. And we saw last night with Kyle Loge make a mistake in giving up on a play. What a job there by Pujols to get Cantu. Heads up play.
And it might have been because of that play last night that Albert thought about this. Also the fact that Cantu never left the batter's box. Ball was clearly foul. And how rarely do you ever see a first baseman? Look at it, it's in the grass, and look at it start rolling. He waits until it's a fair ball. At that time, Hanley Ramirez was heads up, and he was running to second base, so he was not fooled. But Cantu's still standing in the batter's box.
Boy, that looks terrible.
Get the second out. Once again, you know, if you run, you never embarrass yourself. But in a little bit of fairness, I've never seen a ball
that far wide.
That far. I've never seen a ball on the, you know, you've seen it in the dirt and roll fair, but I've never seen it in the foul grass and come back and roll fair.
That was a couple of feet foul.
Now watch it here. You can understand why he starts to run and then he goes, oh, no way. Now look at it.
Even the home plate umpire is ready to give Looper a new baseball.
The home plate umpire almost, you know, called foul ball and everything, and then he realized what Albert was doing and the ball started curving. I've never seen that. But
well, the home plate umpire is lucky that Cantu wasn't running. He was in the baseline. I mean, he just took it for granted too.
Yeah, because he would have to run around the umpire.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Now the only thing is, it all makes sense if you retire, you know, Jacobs here, because you did put Ramirez in scoring position. So any base hit, you know, they're going to take a 1-0 lead.
Mike Jacobs with 25 home runs. He's driven in 68. Part of the Carlos Delgado deal picked up from the Mets. Ramirez stands at second base following the error by Troy Gloss. The outside corner. When Looper was here, he was a hard thrower. Guy that could get it in the mid to high 90s. He has sacrificed that velocity for movement and location as a starter.
Big and strong. He's always had, you know, 3-4 different type pitches to where he could become a starting pitcher.
1-2 pitch. And also, as you well know, Al, when you're a reliever in that role, more times than not, it's to get 3 outs, if not under 3, and you can max it out. In this situation, you can't do that.
No, but he's trained, well trained now. He's won career high 12 games last year. He's got 10 victories already this year. So he should set a new career high in wins and a potential free agent.
Makes you think what the Cardinals may do in this offseason. They're going to have a number of contracts that are up and big money deals. Pujols is talking with the first base umpire, I would imagine, about that play we just saw. One and 2 the count. Looper was looking away when LaRue was putting down the signal, so had to step off. Line drive, base hit over Miles into left. They will test Ankiel to the plate and not in time. And advancing on the play, it's Jacobs to second. RBI number 69 for Mike Jacobs. All the runs last night for the Marlins scored with 2 outs, and they pick up the first run tonight with 2 outs.
Off-speed pitch hit right off the end of the bat, just over the glove. Ankiel gives it a throw and hit the grass there and kind of bounced up high. It was just slightly offline.
All set up by Pujols' play, and like you said, Al, it works if that runner doesn't score, but he comes around to score. It's off the end of the bat, and it will stay foul.
Have to watch that, right?
Yeah. Dan Uggla is at the plate, an all-star this year for the Marlins.
And Jacobs goes to second, gets himself in scoring position on the throw.
Here's an 0-1. Well hit. Left center. At the track. And tracked down by Schumacher. Nice play. Takes an extra base hit away from Uggla. And an RBI as well. Good play by Skip Schumacher. Gloss, LaRue, and Looper coming up. 1 inning in the books. Let's take a look at tonight's Aflac trivia question. So move to the second. Who owns the Cardinals' all-time record for the most times hit by pitch in a season? What about Vina? He was a guy that was hit an awful lot.
I was thinking that.
1910, Steve Evans, the all-time record holder, 31 times. The guy that's living in St. Louis, Ron Hunt, was known as a gentleman that was hit by a bunch of pitches.
He played for Ron Hunt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Up in Canada, right?
Yeah. A lot of fun.
Heard you training rules you adhered to. You
had some issues with the rules.
Oh, issues.
I had issues.
Oh, I thought
he set the rules, and I broke them, Al, and that's all right.
Oh,
I was punished.
Rules indeed broken. You never caught until you got it.
And I still don't believe you and Reitz staying in every night during spring training like you claimed last night.
That was that year. It was
1 year. I still don't believe
spring.
it. 3-0 on Gloss, who committed an error in the first that led to a run. Nolasco is the only Marlins pitcher with more than 100 strikeouts this season. Strikeout in the first was number 122. That's 42 more than the second best Fish. They're getting swings and misses.
I see 122 strikeouts, only 35 walks. They expect him to throw strikes even when he's behind.
Here's a 3-1 pitch and a base hit into right. 3 base hits against this Fish, Nolasco.
Number 21, catcher Jason LaRue.
Jason LaRue will be the hitter.
Jason got off to a very slow start. Then he got off to, got on fire. Now he's struggling a little bit of late. And his playing time has been cut down.
223 on the year. First pitch to him. Talking with the folks around the Marlins, they say Nolasco's a guy that will pound the strike zone with fastballs and try to get these right-handed batters to chase that breaking ball.
Well, that's the thing that Hal McRae thought that he would throw a lot more breaking balls tonight against the Cardinals.
1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals wrap up their lone visit to Florida tomorrow night. And we head to Cincinnati. Former stomping grounds for Jason LaRue, and it's Cincinnati without Ken Griffey Jr. and without Adam Dunn. doubled in his debut with Arizona last night. Popped up. First baseman wants it and has it. Indulge yourself at the grand opening of the very first Massage Luxe located in Rock Hill. Join Al and Cardinals All-Star Ryan Ludwig at 6 p.m. August 21st, the debut of the St. Louis franchise. For more information, call 961-LUXE or visit massagelux.com.
There's going to be food and drink and Cardinal tickets available that night. And just to prove to you that Weezy and I did behave one spring, I'll treat you to a new massage if I'm wrong.
Really?
Yeah. How about that? I'll send you to Massage Lux, and then you can, the professionals will handle it, not me.
I appreciate that. A little concerned about that.
Well, I saw your look.
Offer.
Saw your look, so I clarified that.
You'll be signing autographs on the 21st.
I'll be doing whatever.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled. And you come out in a robe and do this? I mean, is it to get the total experience of Massage Luxe, or is it just a normal Al Hrabosky appearance?
No, they have beautiful.
Brent, do you want to add something to this?
Well, I definitely have some experience with a mad Hungarian massage. Got one during the pregame show yesterday.
That was just your neck.
It was my neck. It has 2 hands, one on the back of the neck, one on the front.
Strikeout of Looper. 2 on the night for Nolasco.
And it's a really tight, consistent squeeze to the point where oxygen doesn't get to the brain for about 10 seconds. Feels good.
Okay, Brent. We feel for you. Sorry that has taken place. It's Chuck Rowan right there.
It's called Lux Massage. Massage Lux right now.
Ernie Moore is also on the trip with us, as Rip Rowan is continuing his scouting back home in St. Louis. Doesn't miss a pitch of Cardinals baseball.
Hal McRae, one of his sons, is the video and runs the video for the Florida Marlins here.
Kennedy fouled back, 1 ball, 1 strike.
He was telling me that Chad Blair's facility at Busch Stadium 3 is the finest in all of baseball.
Good. Got a big staff. The Cardinals rely on so much video, and those guys are working every day, no matter if we're home or on the road. Chad's staff never takes a day off.
They don't use an advanced scout. They use the Chad Blair's staff to do all their advanced work.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Kennedy with a runner at first. Big sweeping breaking ball for strike 2.
Well, that's what we're talking about. He's got really 3 different speeds on his breaking ball. Calls one a spike curveball. Then he'll kind of throw more of a slider and then the cutter.
Here's a 1-2 to Kennedy. Grounder right side, base hit. Loss will stop at second base. He's in scoring position. One thing about Dan Uggla, he can hit, but a little bit of a concern at second base with his range.
And we've noticed in this series they have limited his range, and another one that Joey Glass has to hurdle over, so really could only advance 90 feet, couldn't go from first to third.
Number 12, shortstop,
Aaron Miles, 1 for 1. The leadoff spot, singled up the middle. The Cardinals on the road, and we've talked about how well they played away from Busch Stadium this year. It's kept them in the race, but they hit on the road as a team, collectively batting .280 this season. Away from Busch Stadium, 2 on, 2 outs. Second appearance from Miles at the dish. Looks at a ball down and in.
The road numbers are much better in all departments with the Cardinals.
And that's hard to believe. I mean, when you come to this facility and you see that there's no atmosphere, no fans, and then you go back home and the place is packed every night, you would think that's a distinct home field advantage.
It has been in the past, and so, you know, if you had your normal winning percentage at home along with the fine percentage that they have on the road, you know, then you'd be in first place.
1 ball, 1 strike. Some work in the bullpen would help that too. Here is the next to Miles on the outside corner.
Chicago already taken a 4-0 lead in game 2 of their day-night doubleheader. They won 10-2 the first game, and they're batting in the second inning with that 4-0 lead. What did I say? 98% of the time when you're leading by 4, you win.
That's right.
There's 2% hope.
Here's a 1-2. Miles waits on it, chops it up the middle. Ugla race to the bag. And just gets Adam Kennedy in the force play at second. Willingham, Baker, Amezaga coming up for the Florida Marlins. Cardinals strand 2. They've stranded 4 in the first 2 innings. Well, taking a look at what the Cardinals have done on the road, 280 offensively, but then you see the bottom of that graphic what the Cardinals pitching staff has done, and they allowed a high opponent batting average at 280. So you've got to pitch. You can hit all you want, but if you don't pitch, you don't win.
Pitch and defense.
Speaking of pitching, CC Sabathia goes tonight for Milwaukee. What a pickup he has been. He's 6-0 for the Brewers. Almost makes it feel like a must-win when Sabathia is on the mound and you're trying to catch Milwaukee. He's been remarkable for him. 0-1 pitch.
From day one, Tony La Russa said that we're going to get great effort from this team. It may not be good enough at the end, but people are not going to be disappointed with this, the way this team's come to play, and boy, how resilient they have been. They bounce back. Nothing seems to bother them. They have been very enjoyable to watch.
1-2 pitch. What's been frustrating though this year is the back end of games, and if the Cardinals are closing in on 30 blown saves, they saved just a third of those. We're talking about this team being right there with the Chicago Cubs. That has been what has been the real frustrating part of the season. On the outside corner, strikeout for Looper. Sunday night is TV's biggest night. The summer sports block, beginning with the Hooters Dream Girls, then baseball's golden age, followed by amazing sports stories, and finally the best damn top 50. Summer sports block begins Sunday at 7, only on FSN. Mentioned the Cubs, they won game 1, winning game 2, and with the doubleheader today, they're talking about starting Jeff Samardzija on Sunday. He signed a 5-year, $10 million deal coming out of Notre Dame to give up football. That was the incentive, the $10 million. And he has worked out quite well for Chicago. You wouldn't figure he'd be real intimidated by the crowds at Wrigley Field and the pennant race and the excitement of it all after playing in Notre Dame and the pressure cooker of, you know, Notre Dame football.
No. Just a situation where you know he's a weapon at the end of your ball games, and right now, you know, Kerry Wood will be going back into the closer role.
Samardzija is only 23. 2-1 the count on John Baker. Matt Trainer is a backup catcher for the Florida Marlins. That's hit down the right field line and pulled foul. And you may know the name of Misty May Trainer, who's a pro volleyball player that's playing in the Olympics for Team USA and expected to take gold. Pro beach volleyball player.
They're related?
That would be his wife.
His wife?
Yes.
I guess they are still related.
Yes, they are. So they're going to participate in this Olympics, and then after Beijing start a family. 2-2 the count. Team USA in baseball lost today to South Korea 8-7. Brian Barton is on that team, and he had 3 hits for Team USA. Unfortunately, and I think it's sad, no baseball in the next Olympics.
Well, that was voted down, but I've got Hungary voting for it the next time around, and they only lost by 2 votes.
And that's a ball. One-out walk by Looper brings in the 8th place hitter, Amezaga. Looper is a former Team USA participant. So is Ryan Franklin. He was part of the 2000 team that took home the gold under Tommy Lasorda. Dramatic win from Ben Sheets, and Brent has more on that.
Talking to me on the pregame show, guys, and said that's definitely one of the thrills of his baseball career. Almost unexplainable winning that gold medal, and also he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for winning the most games in one Olympics. So he said that was a real thrill. And of course, Ron Vallone, also a former Olympian back in 1992. So a couple of members of that Cards bullpen.
And Franklin won 3 games in the Sydney Olympics.
Troy Gloss was also part of an Olympic team, I believe. Here's an 0-1 pitch. One ball, one strike. First game of the doubleheader, 10-2 Chicago. And Chicago leading in game 2, 4-0. It's slap foul. Yankees lose again to Minnesota 4-2 this afternoon. Hank Steinbrenner has come out. He's on the record as saying that because of all the injuries, he will excuse this team if they don't get into postseason play. But he says next year is their big year. If that means they have to go out and spend a lot of money to get a frontline starter, they do it. Kennedy now run down. It's a heads-up play by the Cardinals second baseman. Double play to end the second inning. Schumacher, Pujols, and Ludwig coming up. Sports Ultimate Nightly Highlight Show is here. It's the final score. Tonight, the Phillies and Dodgers continue their series at Chavez Ravine, and the Yankees and Twins, key matchup in the American League. All the highlights coming up later tonight. Final score on FSN Midwest. Chris Carpenter is back with us after visiting George Paletta. It's Barry Weinberg there, the Cardinal trainer. What we do know is this: Chris Carpenter will miss his next start. We know that. I talked with Tony La Russa before the game, and he said at this point it's wait and see. We got to wait and see to, figure out the next plan of attack to see how he feels before we can really make an announcement on anything. But by extending Wainwright 20 pitches on Saturday, the Cardinals cover themselves either in the rotation with Carpenter's spot going to Adam, or he'll go to where we all thought he was going to be, which is in the bullpen. Base hit for Skip Schumacher.
But the good news is there's nothing wrong with the rotator cuff or the elbow. Does have a muscle issue back behind the shoulder. And you see kind of a dive by Jacobs a little bit soon.
You may disagree with me, but I think for this year and next year, you have to find out a little bit about Chris Perez.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Just asking.
No.
Hey, the guy's throwing mid to high 90s. He feels more comfortable as a closer. I talked to him before the game about it. You're going to have money to spend. Do you want to spend it in that closer's role, or do you feel comfortable with Perez and then say, okay, we're okay with that guy right there, and let's spend it in some other areas where we need to improve the club? First pitch to Pujols was a ball. Singled his first time up.
And I mean, you may find out a lot of good things about him, but if you have a top-notch, and first of all, if you're going upper echelon closer, it's going to cost you a fortune. and maybe preclude you from paying for being able to buy any other assets to help your club.
2-0 the count on Albert Pujols. Cardinals trail 1-0 here in the top of the third. Watch out on this pitch. 2-0. And Pujols pulls it fair. Nice play by Cantu on to first, and they get Pujols. Boy, that's a good play and probably saves a run. That gets by him. It's in the corner, and maybe Schumacher scores.
I don't know about you, Dan, but I almost got the impression that Cantu thought it was a foul ball.
Watch him with this. I don't know if he thought
it's on the line,
yeah.
but look at he started to throw, and then he maybe just had to double clutch. And then he did throw and just had enough to throw out Albert, who was hustling down the line.
As we saw before, Cantu better not take any foul ball for granted.
Exactly. He was the runner left at home plate on the U-turn.
Here's Ludwig, who came up with first and third, one out and popped out. And he pops it up again. Foul territory. Jacobs out of play. Near the cheerleaders. Cheerleaders have just brought in the fans like you wouldn't believe.
Now, wait a minute. This is the biggest crowd of the first 3 games. You might have 14,000 here.
Didn't rain today. Had rain the first couple of days. 0-1 the count with 1 out. And a runner at second base for Ludwig. Popped up again. Dan Ugla, shallow right, outfield grass, puts it away. Now is your chance to register for Fan Frenzy at Busch Stadium. Register to win a 2-minute race through the official Cardinals team store with the opportunity to grab all the Redbird gear you can carry. For more information, stop by the team store at Busch Stadium, open 7 days a week. It's Fan Frenzy. Ricky Ankiel struck out first time up. Two outs, runner at second base. Cardinals really played short-handed when Ankiel. The Cardinals felt he was going to come back a lot sooner than he did. They're already playing with a short bench, and then you had a guy that can only swing the bat, not play defense, and that was Ankiel. It's one of those odd things where both these teams are carrying 4 position players on their bench and an extra pitcher in their bullpen.
And when you have a nagging injury or an injury like Ankiel had, where at least he was able to swing the bat for Tony, you could send him up in pinch hitting, but if he reached base, you had to put in a pinch runner. Kind of disguise that by using one of your starting pitchers. He's always had that philosophy. If I have playing with 4, I have fewer chances to mess up.
1-1 pitch to Ankiel.
Lasco was with the Cubs, came over in the Juan Pierre deal, along with Pinto, lefty down their bullpen.
Isn't Sergio Mitre in that deal?
Mitre was also in that deal. Once again, these Florida Marlins have made some very good trades. And Lasco is only 25.
He's the elder statesman. Good block at the plate by Baker. Marlins starters have been, for the most part, very solid this year. It's a young group. Since Anibal Sanchez's return, which was on July 31st, to their rotation, the starters are 6.5 ERA. That's under 4. They're 25-18. Their season record, the starters. Ankiel strikes out for the second time. 3 on the night for Nolasco. Cardinals have out-hit the Marlins 5-1, but they trail by a run. The error has come back to haunt Braden Looper. That error on Troy Gloss back in the first inning. We're in the bottom of the third. Ricky Nolasco, the pitcher, will lead it off for the Marlins, followed by Ramirez and Gonzalez. Even if the Marlins get their new ballpark, which will be near the Orange Bowl proposed site, will the fans come out? Retractable roof and all?
No.
I agree with you. It's a bad part of town and
very bad part of town.
Tough to get to.
You can't get there. You can't get out of there. And talking with a executive from the Marlins, he's saying that lawsuit that I talked about is really becoming an issue, and some other things that have cropped up, and he was talking in doubtful terms that that stadium will be built.
Second strikeout for Looper. Let's take a look at our Fruit of the Loom feel for the game. All these defensive plays showing a feel for the game, brought to you by Fruit of the Loom. This is the play early on off the bat of Cantu. It would roll fair. Pujols would pick it up and make the play, and Cantu is left standing at home plate. Schumacher takes a hit away and an RBI. How about up the middle? Force play for Ugla and a race to the bag against Kennedy. Adam part of this play. A double play to end the second inning. Cantu returns the favor on Albert. Some defensive plays early on here in our ball game tonight. Strike two, the leadoff man, Hanley Ramirez. Closing in on a 30-30 year, 28 steals, 26 RBIs. 0-1 pitch.
This guy is so exciting to watch, and I agree. You know, he's going to get bigger, and probably third base will be his future site.
And when Pujols first came up, he was playing everywhere. Outfield, third. Three and one. The wild card, the start of play tonight. Milwaukee leads it over the Cardinals by 4 games. They're 69-51 over in the American League. Boston, 2.5 game lead in front of Minnesota, now to 2 games after the Twins win today. New York 5.5 games out. Fly ball into center. Schumacher is there for out number 2. This season, FSN will bring you more Big 12 football than ever. Our schedule has 19 games, all in high definition. Preview shows, classics, replays, and more. Best of all, our 2008 season finale is Kansas and Missouri from Arrowhead Stadium. Big 12 football all season long on FSN. Mistakes by Loge last night came on off-speed pitches. 3-run homer to Ramirez. Also the RBI for Jacobs, but that was it. He got beaten the off-speed pitches.
Noted right at the beginning, and all the scoring is in the first 2 innings, that just didn't have a sharp break to his breaking ball. It had a rolling feel to it. I'm sure he'll regroup.
One thing about Loge, this is a liner out to left, should be caught, and it will be by Van Keel. We'll talk about the right-hander when we come back. Troy Gloss, Jason LaRue, and Braden Looper do up for the Cardinals. It's 1-0 Florida after 3 here at Dolphin Stadium. Troy Gloss, Jason LaRue, and Braden Looper for the Cardinals here in their half of the 4th. 1-0 Florida. We're talking about Loge prior to the commercial break, and I would have liked to have seen him at least the final numbers if he could have gone deeper into the game before the rains hit, because you know, if you look at his trend since the start of the second half, slow starts first and second innings, and then he really settles in and gives you a quality start. Somehow they've got to get him going in the first. You know, he's had longer innings the first couple of innings, base hits, runs scored. But there's no doubt he's had just a terrific year for the Cardinals so far.
And I'm sure he'll kind of regroup and kind of figure this out. CRA had kind of climbed up the last 4 starts.
1-2. But Seelig appears to be more comfortable with the use of instant replay. if they install it, agreements are needed with the Players Association and also the Umpires Union, but it looks like they're going to try to have this done by late August for boundary plays. You know, the home runs, fair or foul. We shall see.
Well, we've heard August 1st, August 15th. Now it's late August.
Late August. Take it a little low.
Velasco, you really like the way he has changed speeds, and he's got a mid-90s fastball, but really has kept people off balance, and his ability to throw that breaking pitch at about 3 or 4 different speeds is helpful.
3-2 to Gloss. Jammed him a bit. Shallow center field, and a sliding attempt, but no catch by Amezaga.
I'm glad for Gloss, but that play has to be made.
You got to wonder how deep he was.
You're right.
Gloss 2 for 2 now.
Long run out there, and it comes in, and really never had it in his glove.
World Series MVP Mike Lowell has been put on the 15-day disabled list. Now there's a guy that's a World Series MVP, the former Marlin. Had 120 RBIs last year for the Red Sox, and now they're missing Manny Ramirez, no longer with him, and Lowell. Down this stretch run for the Boston Red Sox. Hit and run is on. That'll avoid the double play. Cantu will go across the diamond.
Prior to last night, Ortiz was struggling.
Right. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by your St. Louis area Kia retailers. Kia, the power to surprise. And by Taco Bell's new Fertista Freeze, available in 2 delicious flavors topped with real, fresh strawberries. Refresh your day.
By the way, they gave Troy Gloss a base hit on the ball the center fielder couldn't handle.
Looper's been used as a pinch hitter this year. Came into play, batting .273 on the year. Gets the breaking ball and a strike.
They've shown a lot more respect to him than early in the season. He's 4th best of National League pitchers now in hitting, and he has had 5 pinch hit appearances for the Cardinals, but now they're trying to treat him with a lot more respect.
Gary Sheffield does not feel he will be traded from Detroit. He said, look, I've been on waivers a bunch before this season in my career, and it's no big deal.
Just people would be shocked, but just about every player is put on waivers. It's just most of the time you don't know about it.
Here's the 0-2. Tapped foul. I think you'd have to be intrigued if you have a chance to get Gary Sheffield. Next year he'll make $14 million, final year of his contract.
Really not hitting much, but we know what dangerous hitter he can be.
Did some damage against the Cardinals, but has been batting under .250.
Got 2 home runs last night.
Line drive into right, base hit. Gloss is held up at third. But Troy had to wait to make sure that wasn't caught by Ugla. Just passed his glove into right, and the Cardinals, for the 2nd time in this ball game, have runners at first and third, and just 1 out.
Just jams him a little bit, but muscles it beyond Ugla's reach. Troy Gloss, you can see he has to kind of see. And this is one of those situations where batting the pitcher 8th, and he's getting a base hit. Now you bring up a position player in the 9th hole. So with only 1 out, you got a great opportunity, and you should, at the very least, tie this game.
A couple weekends ago, the Hall of Fame writer Rick Hummel, wrote about the pitcher batting 8th, and he noted it wasn't much difference in the production. I'm more of a fan of seeing the pitcher bat 9th, the traditional way, but Tony obviously is not. With Pujols.
His reasoning, and still, I mean, so wherever we go, we have baseball people saying, now explain this to me again. Yeah. Ricky Rojas did that to me yesterday.
And for people that would know, the idea is to get more runners on base for Pujols, ideally.
Well, it's kind of
like a double leadoff man. You get him up in the first because he's batting third.
Get him up in the first, and then he's like a cleanup man after that. And the theory being that you put another position player in the ninth hole, then you have a better opportunity, or he has a better opportunity of getting on base and giving Albert that RBI situation.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Kennedy. Runners at first and third. Cardinals down by a run. Carl Crawford of the Tampa Bay Rays has opted for surgery on his hand and probably wouldn't be available until postseason play. That is a major loss for them.
There's some talk that he could run the bases.
Kennedy gets the fly ball out to left. Willingham backing up. Gloss will tag up. Throw will come into second base, and Adam Kennedy has tied it up with his 26 RBI in the year. Drives in his former teammate in Anaheim. Now here in St. Louis, and it's 1-1. Give Looper credit for getting it to Kennedy and a chance to drive him in. Seven base hits for the Cardinals. 26 RBI for Kennedy, and we're back to the top of the lineup in Aaron Miles. Miles 1 for 2. A single back in the first, and he grounded out to second. Aaron pops it foul. He's playing shortstop tonight. Top spot in the lineup.
Saw that replay on our field for the game. Didn't realize that, like, Velasco got a little piece of it to slow it up for Uggla to make the play and get the force out at second on the runner coming from first to second. If he doesn't get a piece of it, that probably scoots on through.
0-1 pitch. Took something off it. 73 miles an hour. And that's strike two.
Notice where it's got close to about 10 miles an hour variance between his breaking pitches. But that one is 73. Then he'll throw more of the cutter at 83. And he's got one in between.
And a strikeout of Miles. That's 4 on the night for Nolasco. Cantu, Jacobs, Uggla coming up. Looper back to work. We're tied up 1-1. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light keeps it coming. And we've got game number 4 of this 4-game set tomorrow night for you here on FSN. Todd Wellemeyer and Scott Olson. Olson is 6-7. Wellemeyer is a former Marlin, you might remember, back in 06. He'll be making his 24th start of the season tomorrow night in the finale. Friday night, we're not sure who's going to make that start. We would guess either Jaime Garcia or Brad Thompson for Chris Carpenter on Friday night.
Right.
And Bronson Arroyo will go Friday for the Reds. He's now 10-9. Cardinals are going to see some pretty good pitching this weekend. They've got Arroyo on Friday. Aaron Harang, who's 3-12, but have been dealing with a problem in his forearm. We know he's pretty good. He'll go Saturday night. And then on the Sunday afternoon game, Edison Volquez, who's 14-5 and a 2.86 ERA against Loge. All the games on this road trip here on FSN. So all weekend long, we're on FSN Midwest Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Cardinals 33-28, a .541 winning percentage. Tied with Milwaukee for the league's top road winning percentage. The pitch just missed inside.
It will be a different looking Cincinnati club without Griffey and Dunn.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. In the air, out to left, and Keel is there. That's out number 1. You know, the White Sox made the acquisition to get Ken Griffey Jr., and the talk was to play him in center field. And it looks great on paper to have Griffey and Tomey in the middle of your lineup, 2 500-plus home run guys, Griffey over 600. But Griffey, as we saw in Cincinnati, he can't play center. I mean, you've got to put him in right field. You don't agree with that?
No, I'm listening to you. Remember, I told you at the time of trade, I said he was going to play center field, and you told me, you can't play there.
They put him there, and then I watched it.
I said, that's where they're going to put him. And then when you were talking about Swisher, I was convinced with you. I thought that was probably a better idea.
Yeah.
But, you and Ozzie probably don't see eye to eye.
Well, I'm not the only one. Just a name on a list. Very long list for Ozzie Guillen.
I was kidding with Freddie Gonzalez about his post-game abrupt ending after game 1 of the series, and I said, you've been studying Tony. You guys got great respect for each other. You've been studying how he can end a press conference. And he kind of laughed. He said, well, I felt like I was getting into a trap that the more I talk, the more I might sound like Ozzie. Because I didn't want to go there.
Ozzie Guillen, when we went to Chicago, and this is basically when you talk about the White Sox, the Cubs, the Mets, the Yankees, even LA with Joe Torre. I mean, there's a big group of reporters that, they're taking down every single word that he says before every game. He's got a whole court. And at times he just gets going and you can't stop him.
And it's pretty entertaining what comes out at times.
And at times pretty offensive for some.
Well, yeah, but he's already gone to sensitive, what is it?
Sensitivity training?
Sensitivity training.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad I don't have any problems like that.
No, you're solid, Al. Here's a 2-2. Upstairs to Jacobs, who has an RBI single back in the first.
Why every now and then your hands around something, a compadre's throat, just suffice for saying something.
Or Brent. 3-2 pitch. He got him. What's he looking for on 3-2? Strikeout number 3.
Obviously, it wasn't that fastball. Set up inside and just thread the needle. You see how that ball just tails back to the center of the diamond. Left-handers give up on it.
Two outs, nobody on. 1-1 game. Marlins half of the 4th. Dan Uggla flied to center field first time up. That tail's in there for a strike. The other thing about Loesch, and I don't know if you would agree with this, but he has so much success against right-handed hitters on the outside portion of the plate, and he was not getting that call at all last night. You got to have the two-seamer and the slider working for him, but that pitch right there wasn't being called for Loesch.
And that's tough on any pitcher, but you have to work within the parameters that you're given that given night. And umpires have different strike zones.
0-2. Got him to reach for it, had to protect that portion of the plate. Gets the ground ball. Marlins go 1-2-3. Schumacher, Albert, Ludwig coming up. Cardinals have out-hit the Marlins 7-1, but a costly error by Gloss in the first. We're tied up 1-1. This date in baseball history brought to you by the good folks at Schnucks. August 13th, 1979. The great Lou Brock gets his 3,000th career hit in a slam. Lou Brock, number 20, retired and in the Hall of Fame. August 13th, 1979.
It's one of my disappointments.
He had gone by the time he hit number 3,000.
And I was not a teammate of Lou's when he got this 3,000 hit. But not surprising that he takes it off the body of a pitcher after he tried to knock him down.
Schumacher in the second spot in the lineup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I saw Jose Cardinal in a fantasy camp game. The gentleman hit him with a pitch, and the next pitch he kind of, he wouldn't go to first base, and the old competitive juices kicked in, and he hit a line drive right back at him. And it's a good thing the guy couldn't react because it missed him and everything like that, but it might have hit him in the head. But Posey just kind of snapped for a second and thought it was back 25, 30 years ago and wanted to pay that pitcher get back at him. Sometimes it's amazing what these guys can do with their back control.
This guy's one of them. Pujols looks at a strike. I am always amazed, and we've talked about it, on the pitches that are inside. Not only does he hit the ball on pitches that look like they're going to hit his thigh or his hip, but he keeps it fair. Ooh, just missed it. Big cut, hits it a mile high out to shallow left. And taken there by Josh Willingham. 2 outs. Pujols on the night is 1 for 3. Grounded to third, that fly out, and a single his first time up. Ludwig twice has popped out to second. 0 for 2. All this week on our Cardinals Live pregame show, catch our Down on the Farm segment with Jim Hayes. Hayes visits the Cardinals single A affiliate, Quad Cities River Bandits. It's Down on the Farm.
Brett Wallace is playing, this year's #1 draft pick, and last year's #1 draft pick just got promoted from there to Palm Beach.
Peter Kozma. Ludwig has yet to take a pitch. 4 pitches, 4 swings. Friday at midnight, by the way, Eastern time, the draft picks need to be signed. Around Major League Baseball. Here's the 0-1.
Albert not happy, and the dugout took a little beating.
2-1. Looked to be a pitch that he would hit about 5 miles, didn't it? And that's the kind of pitch he usually just launches.
That's the sign of me a little bit tired. You have a tendency, your arm's tired, you get underneath those pitches, you pop them up, and you know you should have just crushed it.
3-2. Just got a piece. We're in the 5th, 2 outs, nobody on. And quietly, Looper looks very good tonight, having allowed just 1 base hit. Taking a look at the Cardinals, they've left 6 on. They've had scoring opportunities, and on the other side, pitching-wise, Looper's been very good.
Oh yeah. He's had the 1 base hit. That was in the 1st inning. That, unfortunately for him, is when Ross made an error on Ramirez.
Ludwig not only has had a breakout year, but one of the real likable guys in professional sports.
Always had to endure and just persevered through it, and his personality hasn't changed from the day he showed up.
Strikes out 0 for 3. Velasco gets Schumacher, Pujols, and Ludwig. Rick Ankiel is coming up on our Spotlight program later tonight. We hope you have a chance to take it in. The Spotlight on Rick Ankiel following our postgame show here on FSN Midwest. And Rick was kind and gracious enough to sit down with us and open up about his past and what lies ahead. Best way to put it, he was relaxed, and something I don't think he had been for a number of years as a pitcher. First pitch swung on and missed by Willingham.
Did a great job with him because, at times we find him and very guarded, very careful what he says, and totally understand that. But good to see him open up.
A couple of the Marlins players in an article here a couple of days ago were asked about Ricky Ankiel, and the players all said that they follow him. They know what he was doing as far as what he was hitting. They referred to the plays in Colorado, the two unbelievable throws that he had. They said outside of Josh Hamilton, this is the guy they follow the most, Ricky Ankiel. And I even asked him about it. I said, what's it like when you get to first base and that opposing first baseman is holding you on? He said, you wouldn't believe the amount of support that I've had from the rest of Major League Baseball concerning my situation. People are pulling for me, and it's been touching in many ways, which was nice to hear.
And of course, you can understand why the Florida Marlins, a lot of these kids live here in the area, and Rick does too in the offseason. So, you know, Rick trains year-round at the complex, and many of those guys are out there year-round too. So, a little more of a personal bond between them.
3-2 pitch. He got him again. Willingham looks at a called third strike. There must be a lot of late movement on some of these pitches from Looper tonight. This year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on FSN, you're running out of time. Log on to MLB.tv, and you can go online to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game of the season live. For details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. What do you think, Raboski? Late movement on these pitches?
I just think it's just hitting the spots. Now, we've seen it to left-handed batters, how he can throw that ball and it tails back, but many times you would think this Florida Marlins group would be extremely aggressive and would go after pitches out of the strike zone. So it's unusual to see him take fastballs in the strike zone.
Baker walked first plate appearance. Looper's allowed one base hit. A single by Mike Jacobs back in the first inning. It was an RBI two-out hit. 1-1 here in the bottom of the fifth. Also in that Ankiel spotlight piece, you forget about the various surgeries and different things that he went through physically, not just, you know, the meltdown on the mound, but what he went through with a knee injury,
He lost
arm injury.
Lost a whole season to the knee injury once he was an outfielder.
2-1 pitch. And that's why he is so intriguing. You just don't know how far the upside could be with Ricky Ankiel.
Rick is 29 now.
Two balls, two strikes.
And for you and I, it wasn't that long ago when we did his major league debut as a pitcher in Montreal.
Yeah.
Mom and dad in attendance. Notice his mother was here at the game with his wife last night.
Two and two. There's a base hit in the right. Baker on base for the second time. Stay cool as the Cardinals go head-to-head with the Atlanta Braves on August 22nd. You can get a free Cardinals cooler bag given to 10,000 fans as they enter the stadium. It's brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Here's a Mezaga, the 8th place hitter. Pitcher on deck. Cardinals have turned one double play tonight. Loss is in at third base. Pujols holding at first, and a long look by Looper. Time called. Let's see how the Marlins want to play it here with the pitcher on deck. Ludwig got the Cardinals on the board early with a 3-run double in the opening inning last night. They couldn't hold on. That's off of Looper's glove and a base hit. If somehow he avoids it or doesn't get the glove on it, it probably turns into a double play.
But self-defense, and Barry Weinberg's going to check, and he's waving him off. Sometimes you can't get out of the way of it. And you see he was in an awkward position as the ball came there, and he couldn't have gotten out of the way of it even when if he tried. Runners at first and second. They do have their pitcher up and one out. Lasco has 6 sacrifices this season. 3 for 42 as a hitter. Albert playing way in. Gloss coming in. Miles playing in the hole to where he can get to third if they can get the lead runner.
1 out. First pitch taken down and in.
Cardinal defense is to try and get the lead runner, Baker, who's catcher. So Gloss and Pujols, third and first, are going to be charging in. Kennedy, now they're going to switch off and they're going to change the defense as Miles now is shadowing the runner at second. Now he'll break.
Base hit in the right. Ludwig will come up with it. And the bases will be loaded. And look who's stepping in. Hanley Ramirez. And here come the Marlins. That's 3 consecutive hits.
Well, if he hits anything that reaches the outfield grass or even halfway, it's got base hit all over it. Showing, and most of the time in this situation, you don't want to hit in the air. You want to hit down so you don't hit into a double play or a line drive double play. But he clears the infield, loads the bases, and this 1-1 game is in jeopardy. Remember, though, Hanley Ramirez did hit the 3-run home run last night, but he had been in a terrible slump. 1 for his last 19 in batting with runners in scoring position, and on the season just 193.
Bases loaded, 1 out. First pitch by Looper. Ramirez. Shallow right center, and it drops in. Ludwig will fire it back into second base. Force play was there, but the runner is safe. Marlins lead it 2-1.
Boy, now they're just fly ball the outfield right up the end of the bat. It's not going to carry that far. Ludwig recognized it, but playing so deep, he never could get in quick enough to catch the ball. So Baker's going to tag up. It falls in front. Ludwig's only play was the possibility of getting the pitcher out and a force play at second base, but he beat that.
So the base is loaded still. If you're wondering, Luis Gonzalez has 3 grand slams in his career. 2-1 Marlins.
Just hit. Career home run 353. That's good for 75th place. Now this guy is a doubles machine. He's going to win on 600 doubles.
Gonzalez double play ball. Steps on the bag over to first, double play. Boy, that's big there. Marlins back on top, 2-1. Top of the 6th, it's 2-1 Florida. As they pick up 4 hits in that last inning. What might have been if they're able to turn that double play. Troy Gloss, 6'5", 240 pounds. He's a big man over there at third base, isn't he?
From Tarzana, but you see right there, he's standing where he's at. The runner and the umpire both have to kind of look around that big body to see when there's going to be a tag up. But it's all academic when Ludwig didn't catch the ball.
Just the little things of the game, though. Remember how Gloss stood at home plate on that steal attempt by Pujols?
Right.
Over at third base, and a throw that got away.
Catcher throw around that big body and alter his throwing pattern.
In the meantime, let's take a look at our prime cut of the game, not from Troy Gloss, but from Ricky Nolasco. Little blue pit into right, our Hardy's prime cut of the game.
There's that little flare that reached the outfield.
Ricky Ankiel on an off-speed pitch out in front. He struck out a couple of times.
He's had a tough night. It's not looked comfortable trying to make contact.
Outfield is deep for Ankiel. Another off-speed pitch out in front.
It's really impressed me with that ability to get ahead with that little breaking ball, and then just, you know, the ability to change speeds. And then he's got a good fastball to back it up. It's got to look, you know, well into the high 90s.
0-2. Is Ankiel, in your opinion, Al, because he's a young hitter at this level, like J.D. Drew was when he first came up, to where he's susceptible to the off-speed pitch, in particular a changeup?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ankiel has a lot of talent like J.D. Drew, but he's so inexperienced as a hitter.
There's the breaking ball. He waited on it and picked up a base hit into right.
But that's a prime example of what he has to do. He has to hit a mistake. You know, most of the time they're hanging breaking balls, but this one still, you see where it is? It's, you know, it's in the middle of the plate, and it had that little loop to it. So he was out in front, but he was able to keep his hands back because he recognized it so early. And instead of being way in on the body, he still left it, you know, in the middle of the plate, and he was able to make that adjustment.
While they have a chance, you and I, one of our favorites back home in St. Louis, congratulations to Michael Hall. Been with the Cardinals since the mid-90s. He's now overseeing Cardinals care and team community relations. Been a veteran of that front office for a number of years.
He's a friend of both of ours, and
congratulations to his promotion.
Absolutely.
To Michael Hall.
He'll do a good job in that department.
First pitch to Gloss, taken low and away. He has singled a couple of times.
Just can't understand the hours that the Cardinal employees put in. One thing when the team's on the road, but when the team's home, their hours are from early in the morning till late after the game. And Michael's one of the best.
1 ball, 1 strike on Gloss. LaRue on deck. 2-1 Florida. Mets lead Washington 12-0. Game the Marlins are watching. Boy, that Washington club, my goodness. Oof. 44-76, 20.5 games out. Here's a 2-1. And Gloss rips it up the middle past Uggla into center. And Keel stays put at second base. Calling all youth dancers and cheerleaders. It's time for the 7th annual Team Fredbird Dance Clinic. Saturday, September 6th. Team Fredbird will teach a one-day dance clinic, and participants will perform on the field prior to the Cardinals game that night. One great price includes all, and you also get the tickets for the game. STLCardinals.com to find out more, or 345-9500.
Watch Ricky Nolasco, not only one hand but both hands, he tries to get up there. One's got a glove on it, so that was okay. But you know, you're out there, you're trying to do everything you can.
Lefty getting loose in their pen. No activity for the Cardinals.
Mark Wiley is a well-respected pitching coach. He's out there trying to get him back to understand this. He's got a lead now. He's given up 9 hits to the Cardinals. I think that's Pinto, who came in the trade from Chicago with Ricky Nolasco.
The Cubs, it's in the top of the 6th. They lead their game 5-0 over Atlanta. Here's LaRue. First 2 have reached. Cardinals with 9 base hits against this right-hander. Showing bunt. Hitting in front of Looper and showing bunt.
And nobody warming up for the Cardinals.
Not sure why he would do that.
Well, there's nobody out. And got Looper coming up.
Here's a bunt. Only play to go to first. So he lobs it to the bag. So sacrifice is good. It goes 1-4 on the play. He must have a lot of faith in Braden Looper to swing the bat to do that.
Under orders from the bench, and Braden Looper, we've talked about, one of the better hitting pitchers in the league. He's 1 for 2 tonight. You got to think about the squeeze play. You got a young team, the Marlins, who commit a lot of errors. They do have a position player on deck, but
playing back in the infield. Now remember, it was Braden Looper who was up Friday against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. And according to Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, he told me that not only did Looper show the bunt early for the squeeze play, but the runner at third, which was Historis, left too early, and they botched it.
Well, remember, that was against Lilly, and he has a little hesitation. So he compounded both of them.
Little check swing. Runners will stay put, but Looper is safe at first. No one's there. Wow.
What did you not like about that strategy of LaRue sacrificing?
I still don't like it, but I'll take it.
Kennedy made the right decision as he just sticks the bat out, checks his half swing. Jacobs gets to it, but there's nobody at first base. Kennedy's wanted to come on a ball hit the right side, but the first baseman playing in, they were playing in at the corners. He would have been dead out at home plate. So he got back to third, and nobody covered first base.
So bases loaded. Here's Kennedy, who has a sacrifice fly RBI back in the fourth. The only run for the Cardinals, his 26th RBI. 1 for 1 on the night. Third baseman is even with the bag.
Now one of the Cardinals' magic numbers this year is 10 hits in a game. The Cardinals have 10 hits now, and when they get 10 hits or more, their record is 56-13.
Cardinals with 10 hits on the night. Bases loaded. 0-1 pitch. A little bit high. Boy, Nolasco really wanted that one.
Yeah, but it was high, as he appears kind of a little bit on fumes. He's thrown 96 pitches. They've got a right-hander up again now.
You've got 3 lefties. This might be the time that you'd want to use them with Kennedy up. Kennedy again to the opposite way. Willingham is there, makes the catch. His throw is lollipop to the plate. It slipped out of his hands, and the runners everywhere advance.
I think we'll both give him that ball did just kind of slip out and lollipopped it up there, so no question they can both run.
So Kennedy has the 2 RBIs tonight. Whoop. Just couldn't get out of the glove, it looked like, and then had a bad grip. So Ankiel scores.
How about a base hit and 2 sac flies for Kennedy tonight?
And all the runners advance at second and third now, and chance for Miles, who is 1 for 3 on the night. This is one of the reasons Tony La Russa separated the 2 lefties. Now you've got Miles, a switch hitter sandwiched between the 2.
Yeah, it just made it a little too easy for the opposing manager. And remember now, in case you're thinking about it, that that Freddie Gonzalez realizes that Miles is a 300 hitter from both sides of the plate. A lot more, all of his power, his 3 home runs left-handed, and 4 times as many RBIs.
Pulled foul, 0-2. Skip Schumacher is on deck. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. 2-2 game. You would figure in watching this inning unfold Hearing the numbers from Miles, both sides of the plate, that this would be it for Nolasco. 0-2. Miles hits it towards Ugla. To his right, makes the play. Cardinals, though, have tied it up thanks to Kennedy. He's got both RBIs, and it's 2-2. This portion of Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler dealers. Change for the Cardinals as Cesar Torres has checked in to play shortstop for St. Louis. 2-2 game. Cardinals have out hit the Marlins 10-5. Fifth inning, and the Marlins, bases loaded, one out. Get into a double play. Missed opportunity there. And then after the Cardinals had sacrifice with LaRue to bring up Looper, nobody at first. Kennedy makes him pay. This could be another one of those games where Tony La Russa says, look, we've been given opportunities, got to win.
No doubt about it. You know, they've out-hit the Marlins 10-5. Braden Looper, first run was an unearned run, as there you see his Turris now playing shortstop.
Cantu, Jacobs, Ugla. First pitch, a strike. Looper's been good tonight. 5 hits. Jorge Cantu is 0 for 2. Be interesting, Al, to see what happens in the 8th and 9th inning. The Cardinals would have a lead. You know, it's McClellan, your guy now, that you go with in the 8th, and then Perez in the 9th. The 2 rookies.
Well, I think it's easy to say that tonight because Izzy had a long inning last night.
That's right,
and
the 1 inning.
Franklin had the 2 innings, so I think it makes perfect sense. And you're still keeping Garcia and Thompson available for one to start and one to be a long man for the rest of the series.
Off the end of the bat, shallow right. Ludwig is there. But you might be looking at the future with those two. 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too. What did the Cardinals do? And we've talked about the possibility of having Perez as your closer next year, but also McClellan, if Looper doesn't re-sign with the team and you lose Loge,
well, I think you
does McClellan go in the rotation?
I think you can't go wrong either way. You leave him in late innings or you put him in the rotation. He's learned so much this year, and he's done such an outstanding job. It makes it, that nice option. Tony likes the versatility from his position players, where he has a little bit with some guys in that bullpen.
One of the guys, though, that's trying to stay in that rotation, Joel Pinheiro. Last couple of starts for him have been very solid. Hit out of play, 2 strikes.
And you look at Looper's year, he learned an awful lot last year that's helped prepare him for this year. The inconsistency he had when he was good, he was very, very good. And when he was bad, he was terrible. He had in his 12 losses, his ERA was over 9. And Looper's 12 wins, his ERA was under 2. And you've seen a lot more consistency from him this year.
Everything in this at bat here has been away, away, away. Let's see if he wants to bust him in. Jacobs struck out in his last at bat on a pitch that was in. He stands far off the plate too. 25 homers, 69 RBIs. Hammers it down the right field line and foul. He was ready for it.
Yeah, he's ready for it. He pulled it foul.
It's okay, Al. It's just a long strike.
I liked it. I liked it. And now he's conscious of that pitch there, and so you throw the splitter down and away.
You could see where LaRue is asking for it up and in.
He wants to go back inside with a fastball.
1-2 pitch. Tied him up. There it is. Strikeout. 5 on the night for Looper. This September, join the Cardinals as they take on their division rival, the Chicago Cubs, in Chicago. The official Cardinals road trip to Wrigley package. Each package includes airfare, hotel accommodations, hard-to-get game tickets, and exclusive access to a Cardinals event featuring team personnel and players. Number to call, 800-892-7687, or visit stlcardinals.com/road trip. Here's Ugla.
And the Looper has allowed 5 hits, and he struck out 5. So now the Florida Marlins on the season have 1,040 strikeouts, 1,045 hits. Contrasting that, the Cardinals, with their 10 hits today, have 1,182 hits. And they've struck out 5 tonight, so they're up to 851.
How about this? 2 through 6 tonight. They've got 1 base hit. 1 for 13. That 1 base hit was the Jacobs single RBI back in the first. The bottom of the order has done some damage for Freddie Gonzalez. As Tony, though, pointed out, the Marlins hit that long ball. That keeps them in games. Helps them win games. Off the end of the bat, Pujols ranges very far to his right, out at first.
Oh, wow.
And Looper just beat Ugla. The lefty has been getting loose in the pen for the Florida Marlins. Did they get him? The lead from Alberts. Chris Parco is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Chris Parco qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. We always see Skip Schumacher sliding into first. What about Ugla?
I know a lot of times people think, and he was out, that it gets you there a little quicker. And of course, the argument is inappropriate with the Olympics. You never see those Olympic sprinters dive for the tape, do you? They run through it. But many people believe it's an optical illusion that the umpire gets swayed by you diving in.
Base hit for Schumacher. He slapped it the other way. They stop at first base, and good to see Skip Schumacher reach against the lefty, Daniel Pinto.
This guy is one of the real workhorses of baseball. He's 3rd in the major leagues in relief appearances. This is his 63rd appearance, and he's 7th among National League relievers with his 61 2/3 innings pitched. You know, I think if we went back the last 2 weeks or so, you'll find that Schumacher has held his own pretty well against left-handed pitching.
It seems to be that way. I agree with you.
And a lot of it is he's going the opposite field, staying in there, and taking the balls to left.
Here's Pujols. He rifles one to left field. First 2 have reached. Second base hit on the night for Albert. That ball was smoked.
Yeah, Dan, I mean, this is a situation we were talking about earlier that Tony La Russa feels they have to win this game, and they really do. They've got 12 base hits in 6+ innings. They've already stranded 8, and Ludwig could redeem himself. He's been a big culprit, but I mean, he's had a remarkable year, but he's a little frustrated with this one. A couple pop-ups and then a strikeout. And people are going to remember what he does in this at bat.
Nolasco, their starter, 6 innings, 2 runs allowed on 10 hits. He struck out 5. Ludwig 0 for 3. Twice he has popped out to second. He's also struck out. It sweeps in there for a strike.
81 miles an hour, but Pinto is 6'4", 215, and looked like it was thrown a lot harder. A lot of arm action, a lot of motion.
They've got 3 lefties in their pen. Hendrickson we saw last night. Arthur, Rhodes, and Pinto. First time we've seen him. 0-1 pitch. In the air out to center. Ameza goes back. Near the track, makes the catch. Pujols is tagging up from first to second and in there. You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Well, you knew it was coming, and Ameza had a pretty strong throw from the guy standing on the warning track. And you really appreciate that hustle when you're safe. Backing up, and fires it in. And Albert, he knew it was coming, and he didn't hesitate. He jumps kind of for the bag right there and gets underneath the tag.
He's limping a bit out there at second base. As you mentioned, he jumped into the bag. Now it's Rick Ankiel. Righty getting loose in the pen for the Marlins. This could be the last hitter that he sees.
Justin Miller is the righty.
On the outside corner.
And this is a good bat, you know, to talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of Rick Ankiel. If he gets a breaking ball that is a hanger or something like that, he can put a charge into it. But if Pinto makes his good pitches, you know, Rick's going to have trouble.
And you wonder if Tony La Russa flirted with the idea of pinch hitting Mather here, even if they would bring in the righty to counter.
It's a good point. But I mean, we've seen so many times, and if memory serves, of Rick's 22 home runs, 7 of them against left-handers where they've left the ball in a very vulnerable spot.
Up and in. Pitch at 88. 2 balls, 1 strike. And Ankiel tonight, run scored back in the 6th, the game-tying run. 2 strikeouts as well. His single came on a 2-strike pitch. The 2-1 here.
Took a little off. Got it up and in. Off-speed pitch. You know, Rick gets his arms extended out over the plate. If it's a good breaking ball down the way, he'll come up empty. If he gets a hanger, I mean, he can hit another home run.
2-2. Ankiel gets it in the air down the left field line. Foul territory and the catch made. Ramirez makes the catch by the tarp. And it's up to Troy Gloss now with 2 outs. Boy, again, the Cardinals with runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs, and they can't cash in, Al.
Talking about it, and he didn't make the best pitch. He got him reaching, but you can see that swing right there. If it's down, he can't even make contact to it. Got enough of it just to foul it off, but it's just learning how to deal with that. But if they make mistakes, he can crush it.
That's it for the lefty Pinto. And Miller coming in, the righty, to face Troy Gloss when we return.
Welcome back to South Florida. Let's take a look at Pinto pitching to Schumacher at the start of this inning. Schumacher much better going to the opposite field. And see, he's slicing the ball out there and he gets a base hit. Now Rick Ankiel. It's going to be a little further away, but watch how he's just reaching for it. He hasn't learned yet to really kind of get up there and just try to drive that front shoulder, drive the ball to the opposite field.
Justin Miller, Chevrolet called to the bullpen, 46th appearance. He was on the DL late July with an irritation in his elbow. Last appearance was against the Mets. Third of an inning, gave up a run. Troy Gloss is 3 for 3.
Righties are batting .221 against this right-hander.
Cardinals in desperate need of a win and a hit right here.
You know, I was going to say they have the option of pitching around him, and now when he fell behind, they're going to go intentionally pass him with Jason LaRue on deck.
I think you'd have to think about
Molina.
Yeah. With the bases loaded as well as he hits with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
You've almost
clutch hitter and puts the ball in play too.
You've almost kind of told Jason last time up.
He sacrificed.
By sacrificing that, you know, you didn't think he was going to get the job done. And well, here now he's in a clutch situation where with 2 outs and the base is loaded in a tie game, they're going to let him hit for himself. Now, he was an everyday catcher and did an outstanding job as an offensive player for many years in Cincy.
Hits it into right center, and this is going to get down. LaRue delivers with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 2-run score. Here comes the third. Play at the plate is in time. They get him, but 2 runs scored as Jason LaRue delivers here in the top of the 7th.
Can't be happier for Jason in that situation to come through his clutch.
2-run score on the double by LaRue. RBIs 12 and 13. And the Cardinals have a lead. Jason LaRue, the reaction in the dugout. '2008 is all about choices. President, Congress, and fantasy football. Make the right choice this year. LaDainian Tomlinson and Fox Sports. Register now at foxsports.com/LT or text LT to 36977. Jason LaRue has given the Cardinals a 4-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Looper still in the ball game. He'll face Willingham, Baker, and Amezaga. 6, 7, and 8.
Willingham's had a tough night as he has been caught looking twice by a Looper.
The runs charged to Pinto. He's on the hook right now. 1-1 pitch. Grounder hit to third. Gloss, gloves, throws, out. Brings in John Baker. He has walked, singled, and scored.
Looper's pitch count is just at 86.
Cardinals do have activity in the pen. I believe that's McClellan getting loose.
It is. Kyle, who was impressive the other night after a blue base hit and a 2-base error by Ankiel, allowed the leadoff man to get third base.
Here's Baker in the air to center. Schumacher is there. That'll keep the pitch count a little bit lower. Quickly, 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Looper is due to lead off the 8th. You wonder if this might be it for him. But again, the pitch count is low.
You couldn't argue either way, but I mean, he had done his job if he gets through 7. And then it sets up from McClellan in the 8th and Perez in the 9th, as we discussed earlier.
The Marlins have just 5 hits tonight. The 0-1 pitch. Quickly, 0-2.
I'm sure there's some people that remember Braden Looper as the closer and saying, who is this guy? Is it his son? Is it, you know?
Totally different from what they were used to seeing here.
Absolutely, but bottom line was he was an effective closer for him, and he was an effective starter for the Cardinals.
0-2.
He's pitching.
Wes Helms is on deck. From the umpire?
Usually
after the foul ball.
The foul ball, and usually the umpire puts it in play.
Here's the 1-2 with 2 outs, and it's popped up. A play, Gloss or Isturis. Cesar is there, sends us to the 8th inning. Cardinals on top. It's 4-2. Let's take a look at the Cardinals game recap tonight, brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's 4-2 in favor of St. Louis here in the top of the 8th. Looper, outstanding tonight, just 5 hits allowed. He's also mixed in 5 strikeouts. Adam Kennedy, a couple of RBIs, both on sac flies to left. Jason LaRue, big hit in this game, bases loaded in the double. So that's it for Looper following his 8-pitch 7th inning. His night is through, and the Cardinals turn it over to the bullpen. Cardinals have not scored many runs in his last 2 starts for Looper. Have given him a 4-2 lead tonight as he's trying to win number 11.
He didn't give him many runs tonight to work with, but Joe Mather is going to pinch hit for Looper here. Cardinals have banged out 13 hits on their 4 runs. They've stranded 9 in the game.
Mather had a home run in game 1 of this series. Here's a 2-1 pitch.
Now it's a matter of days before Brian Barton is brought back to the roster. It's going to be a tough decision who to send down.
2-2 pitch. Mather on a hop to third. Cantu stays with it. Low throw in the stretch by Jacobs. And Tony was telling me that he will be activated by the weekend. They wanted to put him through drills tonight, possibly tomorrow, and then make a move possibly on Friday. Could correspond with what happens with Carpenter.
Well, that, and also you get through this tough 4-game series with the off days, you might, on as early as Monday, you might feel comfortable enough to go back down to 12 pitchers.
There's Kennedy with 1 out.
That's what I would do. But no one's asking me, not even you.
Big hit in the game, though, like you said, is a guy that Tony La Russa sticks with, LaRue. Good to see that happen to him.
Oh, absolutely.
Had a little conversation with him at the team hotel the other day, and he was saying, look, I've been in situations which, we've been out of it at this time of the year, and I don't feel it's done yet. We still have a real good shot. But it all comes down to winning games. Got to win these games, and then you got to win those head-to-head matchups, those series with Milwaukee and Chicago coming up.
The one thing is they have not played that well in the division. But the one thing I will say is from spring training on, the only people that have believed in this team are the guys wearing the uniform, and that is the most important.
Cardinals 500 against the Central this year. The 2-2. Kennedy up the middle. Base hit past Ramirez. Big night for Adam. 2 for 2, 2 RBIs.
Number 3, shortstop, Cesar is third.
Seen Ugla diving all over the place, but coming up short with a lot of his dives as far as trying to get to baseballs. Ramirez came up short on that last play. Here's the first plate appearance for Izturis. Came in midway through this game to fill in for Miles defensively at short.
Time.
He's in the leadoff spot. 4-2 St. Louis here in the 8th. Looper throws 93 pitches tonight. 62 of those were strikes. 7 innings. Only 5 hits allowed. 2 runs. 1 of those was earned. Walked 1 and struck out 5. No home runs allowed. Let's see what the wild card race looks like. Cardinals 4 games out behind the Brewers, who have Sabathia going tonight. See 5 in the loss column there for St. Louis. That's ripped into right off the bat of Izturis. Kennedy on his way to third. How about the bat that Izturis has been swinging as of late?
Well, it's been a while. Snapped his 7-game hitting streak last night, and he hit .480 during that 7-game hitting streak. Justin Miller, throw the ball up. Kennedy, good base running, going first to third, no hesitation, just knew he'd get there. Kendo taught him to slide, but Ramirez cut it off. And you're going to play most of September in our division. And Chicago is 11 games over 500 in the Central. Milwaukee is 7 games over 500, and the Cardinals are 500.
First and third for Schumacher.
It almost looks painful to watch Justin Miller throw. He hurt his arm at one time, or
what do you see? What are you seeing?
oh, just that he can't get his arm up. I mean, guys throw from different slots, and I was telling some of the Cardinal players, we were talking about different things. I said, years ago, the old common denominator was everyone threw hard, and you didn't become a breaking ball pitcher until you hurt your arm. And either you learned to throw from a different slot or you went home. There's no surgeries. Had to pitch this year to get a contract for next year.
1-2.
And some guys were able to, Tanana was a guy that was a mid-90s fastball pitcher that ended up hurting his arm and became very successful in the latter stages of his career being a junker.
Schumacher with a couple of base hits and runs scored tonight. 2 for 4. Left center, and that gets down. A run will score. Turris read it perfectly on his way to third, and he is out. 5-2. Kennedy scores. Turris took the chance as he tested the left fielder Willingham. But it's an RBI for Skip Schumacher, his 36th. It's also a 3-hit night.
Cardinals with 16 hits. They just continue to bang, and his ball staying down. Willingham was naturally a catcher. Because of his bat, they put him out in the outfield to get some more at bats, and here he throws out his Turris trying to stretch it.
Pujols with 2 outs, runner at first. 5-2 St. Louis. $16 hits tonight for the Cardinals. Pujols with 2 singles on the night. A run scored. Willemeyer, the former Marlin, going tomorrow night here in Game 4.
Call the balk. It's just right there. He started to take the ball from his back and start his motion and stopped. Freddie's thinking he got first base open.
Right.
So, hey, set up in the left-hand batter's box. Don't give in to him. Ooh, right down the middle.
Left it over the middle of the plate, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. And that's the way Freddie, first thing he said, he pointed to his head, like think. Well, he should have pointed the pitcher, too. Freddie and I were talking today about something Cookie and Rojas and I talked about. The first time I heard Preston Gomez say it. And that is, don't assume these guys know anything. Because if you assume they do, you're going to be wrong 100% of the time.
We saw that in Game 1 of this series with Ugla being thrown out at second base in the 9th. Stolen base attempt down by a couple of runs. Pujols strikes out. Sends us to the bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals get a little insurance. It's up to the bullpen. McCullough coming in 5-2. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. And by Chevrolet. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com. Sandcastle here in Florida, 5-2. The bottom of the 8th. Cardinals lead it.
Pretty cool with a fire in the middle of it.
Yes, sir.
Kyle McClellan takes over the 8th inning. First man he'll face will be the pinch hitter, Wes Helms. Now making his team high 58 appearance, and he earned his hold number, or he earned a hold in 29 of 57 games, looking for 30 tonight.
So good this year in his rookie campaign. I've talked to some Cardinal personnel who feel that he is best suited in the bullpen. His arm stays strong. He is sharper out there, and some feel might be best to see him in the rotation at some point.
That's why I say you can't go wrong either way. You know, he's a weapon where he is. That's something you know he can handle. Now you believe that he would be a very good candidate for the starting rotation because he's got 4, you know, plus pitchers.
How about the job he did the other night? Runner at third, nobody out. There's the curveball, which is very good. Into shallow right. Kennedy going out, won't make the catch. Hit a big base hit for Wes Helms. It's amazing. Those guys have been working all 3 games of the series high above the stadium.
I mean, the fuel capacity.
We always seem to get him when they're right about at that point.
Yeah.
He gives us away.
Gives away. The lights are bright.
Here is Hanley Ramirez. Looper, 93 pitches, 62 strikes. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. One of those was earned.
Like I said, when you give a starter go 7 innings, everything falls in place.
There's a chopper hit foul. Ramirez reached on an error by Gloss in the first, scored on the 2-out base hit by Jacobs. He's flied to center. And with the bases loaded, he got a blue base hit, a single in the 5th. And maybe the key play in the game, Luis Gonzalez with the bases loaded, only 1 out, grounds into a double play.
And the next momentum really shifted the Cardinals, and they took the lead the next half inning.
2 strikes on Ramirez. McClellan has got the plus breaking ball, plus fastball. And when he's got rest, he is just flat out nasty.
Got a change up, and he's got a cutter, a slider. Bounce the curveball here. And he's thrown. It was a backup curveball that Helms got a piece of. And same thing with that one there. But, you know, not exactly where you want it, but Ramirez couldn't do anything with it. It's going to be a sinker.
It's a couple of times now that LaRue hasn't looked real comfortable with some of these pitches from McClellan, just catching them. Last one, it looked like he snow-coned it.
And he's hungry. Sinker, wants it on the inner part of the plate.
And he hits Ramirez. Pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet. Tying run now comes to the plate.
There's a good sinking fastball and everything. Now they're fastball 0-2. That's the backup curveball right there. Then he goes to the fastball away, and that was supposed to be a sinker there. It was elevated and hits him. So Dave Duncan out to kind of slow him down. And there was one part of the season where he kind of got a little erratic with his control, and a lot of times it was that breaking ball. Instead of pulling down on it, kind of got it spinning a little sideways on him, and really kind of had it backing up or throwing it where it was casting it, spinning it, instead of the good down 12-6 action. Luis Gonzalez has a chance to redeem himself.
He represents the tying run. 5-2. 2 runners on, nobody out. Fastball at 94 and a strike. When he gets rest, he throws a little bit harder too.
Well, that's only natural, and it's, you know, when Franklin, when Izzy, when they all have rest, they are a handful coming out of there.
Gonzalez tonight is flied to right, lined out to left, grounded into a double play.
And you would think, you know, pitching on Monday, he'd be fine here on Wednesday.
Gonzalez, opposite way. It's pretty well hit. Near the wall, and a leaping catch by Mather. He'll throw into Kennedy as the ball scoots away, but Joe Mather comes up with a great play out and left.
You need all that big frame to get up there on the scoreboard.
What a play by Mather.
It would not have been a home run because it's got to go over the scoreboard, but off the wall would have been more than one. So with a little bit of luck, the Cardinals could have turned a double play.
What a great catch by Joe Mather.
Jason LaRue racing down here as the ball got away at second base, and Albert had to go over there, but that's good hustle by Jason in case the ball, you know, Albert didn't pick it up or got by him. Jason has a backup.
Here's Cantu. He's got 20 home runs. You know, that's a situation where if it gets over Mather, it hits off the wall, and it's a merry-go-round. I mean, who knows where those runners wind up?
You're right. You know, hit off that wall and could carry him back towards the infield.
Don McClellan a double play away from getting out of the inning. Cardinals have a lefty getting loose in the pen. Might be for Jacobs.
And that's Valone.
Cold foul. One ball, one strike, one out, two runners on.
Now, this is a team that many times when they have runners in scoring position, they aren't thinking about the fundamentals or trying to, you know, hit behind runners, do little things to help win a ball game. They're usually in the, you know, home run mode.
Past is Turris into left. Helms being waved in. Throw will come to Gloss, and it's 5-3. Go-ahead run comes to the plate now.
Broke his bat, but got enough wood on it to where he pulled it through the hole. Set up away, and you know that this ball is going to be more, well, not really that bad a pitch. Went out there and just hooked it. And with Jacobs coming up here, I wonder if Tony will go to Ron Valone.
As we've talked about, though, McClellan is good against left-handed batters.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is you got two right-handers right after Jacobs. There's only one out.
He got the ground ball, but just through the hole between third and short. Jacobs, 25 home runs. There's the curveball up and away. Has an RBI tonight. Against righties hitting .257, the lefties .227. Mets leading their game 12-0. Marlins trying to keep pace. Phillies will play the Dodgers tonight. Milwaukee with Sabathia, his great numbers against San Diego. Be nice to see the Cardinals post a win before they throw that first pitch out west.
And the Cubbies are in the ninth inning with a 5-0 lead at Dixie. Ted Lilly. I think Marquis won the first game.
1-1 pitch. Strike two. Can't say enough about the job that the rookie Mather has done. And all the rookies this year for the Cardinals. Surprises. McClellan wasn't supposed to make this team. He made it out of spring. Mather has provided a lift.
Now Chris Perez is throwing in the bullpen as Valone is waiting. He's ready. And you have a pair of right-handers before you get to the next left-hander.
Perez had a 5-out save against the Dodgers for his first ever in the big leagues. The 1-2. Jammed him, popped up, and out of play.
Ideally, you get a ground ball double play, get out of this inning, and then have Perez start fresh in the ninth. The thing about Kyle McClellan is, you know, he has some intestinal fortitude. You're not worried about gets into a rough spot where a lot of relievers are looking over their shoulder. And he's very capable of getting in trouble and getting out.
Here's a 1-2. Pulled down the right field line. That's trouble. To the wall it goes. One runner's in. They will hold the runner at third. Jacobs with a double. Lead is cut to 5-4.
Second RBI for Jacobs. Now the run scored for Ramirez. Oh, just too much of the plate, not going far enough in, and in the wheelhouse of a left-handed hitter. Down and in. LaRue out to talk. Was this a stalling technique? You can make sure Perez is ready. Kyle really has not had command of his pitches here tonight. Left them too many of them in the middle of the plate.
Got a guy in Perez, strikeout pitcher getting loose.
Well, with 16 hits, and the Cardinals have stranded 10 in this game. It should be, they should have scored a lot more than the 5 that they have.
Looks like a double switch. It's Ross. He'll pinch run.
Then you're going to do a double switch. We'll see.
There's only Guy Lopez left on the bench.
You got Molina. He's putting Lopez is going.
5-4. Perez coming in. Perez coming in, and the tying run over third with one out. The go-ahead run, potential winning run at second base. 27th appearance. Wrapped up 2-1. He is from the state of Florida, product of the U, Miami, where he was a closer. 5-1, 4.06 ERA, 8 saves. That terrific program that the Hurricanes have.
Take a pop up in the infield right now. University of Miami closer, signed in 06. This is his role. He is a strikeout type pitcher, and he could handle that right now. Only one out.
The All-Star Dan Uggla.
Just remember the All-Star game. And we'll take that result from Uggla.
Here's a 1-0. Ball scoots away from LaRue. Runner stay put. Ooh. That's the one thing. LaRue has just not looked comfortable this inning.
Watch him on this one. And boy, that ball had such movement. It boxed him and hit him in the heel of the glove. You're absolutely right, Dan.
Chris Perez, Al, was a former catcher. He was telling me prior to the game he had a coach in high school approach him about a summer ball team and said, "I've seen your arm. How about pitching?" He said, "I've got nothing better to do. I'll try it."
Dan, there's more success stories of guys in the big leagues that, you know, late in their amateur status or some even in the pro ball that start pitching.
And because of that team, Florida, Miami, rather, and his high school team in Florida, but Miami, the University of Miami, saw him and he got a scholarship, became a closer.
He's from Bradenton, Florida.
And he was telling me this is the spot he enjoys. He's most comfortable as a closer.
Well, that's, you know, that's very key. You know, they're not convinced he's ready for this role yet, but if you believe it, then you got a chance.
2-1 pitch. Almost hit him with the slider.
Slider, and you know, we've seen though, you know, they wanted him when he was sent down to work on that slider. Well, when he's been here, they call almost so many exclusive fastballs, he loses the release point. And he had the reputation of having a very good slider.
The next to Ugla. Another slider. Bases loaded for Josh Willingham. A 3-1. Got to figure Ugla was looking for a fastball anyway. Sitting on it. You would think.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you could throw that slider when you're behind in the count, you would get somebody to roll over on it, hit that ground ball and turn two. And it's not the worst thing because it sets up the double play.
The other day, the Cardinals and Perez caught a break when Ugla, who had walked to start the 9th inning, down by 2 runs, then was caught stealing at second. And then after that, it seemed like that Perez could relax.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was Molina's big game where he gunned down 2. Both of them were Ugla and hit the 2-run home run.
1 out, bases loaded. Strike 1 on Willingham.
Willingham has had a tough night. He could atone for it. As he's 0 for 2 twice. First 2 times up, he took called 3rd strikes from Looper, and they looked like they were fastballs.
Also grounded out to 3rd. He's 0 for 3. Lopez came in to play second base, so Gloss, Isturis, Lopez, and Pujols on the infield. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled back. One thing that Perez can do is get the strikeout. Certainly you need that or a double play in this spot.
And remember, this is a team that has struck out the most in the major leagues. Almost as many strikeouts as they have hits.
And they also come back an awful lot. Comeback wins have been a story this year.
Exactly right. They're second best.
Marlins are tied for second in the majors. 34 come from behind wins.
There is a slider there.
Tied with the Chicago Cubs and the Tigers, trailing the Milwaukee Brewers. They have 35 of those come from behind wins. 13 have come in the 7th inning or later. Put it in perspective, they had 41 of those all in the 2007. Slider's not been sharp for Perez.
And that's, you know, one of the indications why Tony and Dave Duncan always say he's not quite ready yet.
The 0-2.
Good fastball, but off the plate, didn't get him to chase. I mean, the more pitches that Willingham sees or any hitter sees, the better they can gauge that fastball and get the timing down.
5-4 Cardinals. Bases loaded. 1 out in the 8th. The 1-2 pitch. Grounded to Gloss. Steps on the bag. Over to first. Double play. Perez gets the double play and sends us to the 9th. How big was that? First man he saw walked Ugla with the bases loaded. Double play. Perez and the Cardinals out of the jam.
And welcome back. Coming up after the game, it's US Cellular Cardinals Live. Jim Hayes and Jack Clark going to break down this game. We'll hear from Tony La Russa inside the clubhouse as well. How to hit a curveball as good as Nolasco's was tonight. Plus, go back to that strange play in the first inning where the ball was way foul and came back into fair territory. That plus we hope to hear from Chris Carpenter, who is back with the team. US Cellular Cardinals Live.
Okay, Brent, thanks. 15,223 tonight. Here's Ryan Ludwig. 5-4. Cardinals are trying to hold on, but they need some insurance here. This is Nelson into the ball game. We've seen him already pitch in this series. Joe Nelson, 39th appearance, record of 2-1 on the year. What a job by Perez. Walked the first man he saw, bases loaded, set up the double play, and he got it.
There's that, you know, role of a closer. You pitch that 8th inning. in a very key situation. Then you sit down, and then you got to get the motor running again. Come back out and start the ninth.
7, 8, and 9 coming up for the Marlins. This one's popped foul off the bat of Ludwig.
Brad Thompson is throwing there, but I'm sure that's just to keep sharp. I would not figure that he would come in to pitch tonight. That would blow our minds. And he's still in possibility of starting the game on Friday.
Two and two. Two pitch. Ludwig gets underneath it and pops it up to the left side near the Cardinal bullpen. Ramirez, over that sidewall, and a great effort. Almost came up with it. Standing effort there from Hanley Ramirez.
Appears to be okay, and the crowd appreciates this effort.
A guy that you're paying that kind of money to, you like to see the effort there.
Sure. So the fans. Cantu has moved from third base to first base, and West Helm stays in the game, and he's playing third now.
Lopez on deck for the Cardinals. Then we'll see Troy Gloss. 2-2 pitch. Ludwig strikes out. Ludwig is 0 for 5. There's the former Cardinals closer in the bullpen, Jason Isringhausen.
Talked to Tony about last night. I said he probably wanted or thought about using Izzy for 2 innings, and he said yes, but after he had the 24-pitch first inning, decided to give the second inning to Franklin, bring him in and pitch 2 innings.
Lopez, first plate appearance of the night. I'm sure it's not easy right now watching some of these younger guys take on the crucial spots in game for
Izzy's
Isringhausen.
Got a lot of pride, and he knows that one time he replaced somebody, and he still has a role in this ball club to where he can be, still be an impact reliever. And every opportunity, Tony will mention that he's still under consideration for closing roles.
1-1 pitch to Lopez. 1-2. Chicago now leading 8-0 over Atlanta in the top of the ninth. Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati 5-2. Mets in the ninth, 12-0 over Washington. Houston trying to win again over San Francisco at 6-1.
Be a big crowd in Washington, isn't there?
One and two the count.
Wouldn't hurt to have a couple insurance runs, would it?
Time called by the catcher.
How about another one-run game for the Cardinals? They've been involved in some of them.
Lopez pulls it fair. Inside the first baseline, down to the corner it goes. Lopez on his way to third. And he's in there, diving head first with a triple. Felipe Lopez.
Got a little pop in his bat. He does have the running speed, so it's pretty. He has found a home, going from the release from Washington, at least playing meaningful games and getting a lot of playing time. He's probably shocked at how much playing time he's gotten. First plate appearance, and just kind of went out there trying to make contact and hooked it right over the bag. They were not guarding the line. And it gets down the right field corner. The infield in now. And a great opportunity for Troy Gloss, who's had a good night.
On base 4 times for Gloss. And he rips it fair. Down into the left field corner. Lopez can walk on home. And Troy Gloss on his way to second base. It's 6-4 Cardinals. On base for the 5th time tonight is Troy Gloss.
And it's 4 hits. 3 singles, an intentional pass, and now a double. He leads the club in doubles with 29 and his 80th RBI.
Number 21, catcher Jason LaRue.
Smoke down in there. The Cardinals now with 18 hits.
Gloss is just 3 back of Lance Berkman and Chase Utley in the RBI department in the top 10. Now with 80. Here's LaRue.
And Jason LaRue got the biggest blow. The 2-run double back in the 7th inning to give the Cardinals a lead.
One pitch. 0-2. Thompson is sitting now, and so again, like we said, just probably a little tune-up, throwing on the side and getting ready for a potential start on Friday.
It's Jaime Garcia and Brad Thompson. And you have to think now with Dunn and Griffey gone, more of a right-hand hitting team.
Good
probably
point.
will be Brad Thompson.
Oh, 2 pitch. Colorado leads Arizona 3-0. That's in the 4th. Strikeout of LaRue. And here's Joe Mather. Struck out last night to end the game. Outstanding play in left field tonight for Mather. That's one of the things Tony La Russa has talked about with Mather. They're very comfortable in late inning situations playing Mather defensively in the outfield.
Well, here's the catch that you're talking about. Runners at first and second, and goes up over the wall, hauls it in. He's also a very good base runner.
And Al, with Barton coming back, it'd be pretty tough to tell Joe Mather you're being sent back down. He's contributed in a positive way for this team.
Well, that's why I say that, you know, you get through this series, and with all the off days you have at the end of this month, you go back to, you know, you eliminate a pitcher. Go back to 12 pitchers, and then you can have Barton, who has to be on your roster for the entire year. No problem when you get to, you know, no problem when you get to September. Expanded roster, Ron Valone throwing, but you know, then, you know, you protect yourself.
Change up and popped up by Mather. Behind home plate, into the seats. 2 balls, 1 strike. Malone has been up before already in this game.
Well, they have the left-handed swinging Baker. Then you got the switch hitter, Amezaga.
You have to think about it. Permita, who's on their bench, who hits from the left side. Runner at second base. 2-1 count on Joe Mather. Three and 1. 6-4 Cardinals here in the 9th.
Now Molina was standing on deck circle, but now we'll see Perez. They were doing a deke there because Perez now will pinch hit. Molina was standing on the deck circle, so they had Valone as a decoy warming up, but Tony's going to want Perez to face this game, trying to sell it to at least pitch to Mather.
2 outs, 2 on. One ball, one strike. I have to say that Perez's stock is starting to rise with what's happened last week with the 5-out save. The other night he picked up a save. What happened in the 8th inning. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
Let's see if Nelson can throw 3 strikes before he throws 3 balls or 4 balls. Boys hadn't swung or made an offer at any yet.
The 2-1. That's inside. There's Turris on deck. It's 3-1. And will Perez even swing the bat?
Well, so far he hasn't shown any indication. It's 3-1. Don't swing.
First at bat ever in the big leagues for Perez.
Well, ever in, you know, he's. Well, I think he's got Albert Pujols' bat, so he's afraid to swing.
Don't break it.
I'm kidding, though.
3-2. And Perez now goes back on the mound to try to finish it. 6-4 St. Louis. Bottom of the 9th as Perez recorded the final 2 outs in a double play with the bases loaded back in the 8th inning. And so Perez will try to finish it off here.
Well, we're going to see what happens here. Like I said, many times, the old-fashioned way of bringing in your closer in the 8th inning or 7th inning, and you have to pitch multiple innings, you get out of a crucial situation like he did. You sit down and relax, and sometimes you have to get yourself back in trouble before you get that motor kicked in again.
The one thing I'd say, though, Al, he's got at least experience, not at this level, but you know, he has been closing in college, in the minor leagues, and now trying to do it at this level. That means something.
Very little.
To have a little experience. And you say that just because it's the major leagues, right?
Right. And but I mean, if you can simplify it in your mind and take it that there's no difference, you know, you are way ahead of the game.
Here's Baker, the first hitter, the 1-0 pitch.
And you've heard me say it 1,000 times, where I think a lot of managers and coaches psych out pitchers and tell them how difficult it is to get the last 3 outs, and they psych guys out. You know, where I've always said it's not that big a deal.
You definitely are in the minority of that.
I know, but I mean,
guys I've talked to, they say it's a different animal, but they all agree with this, that a lot of it is, if not all of it,
between your ears.
That's right. The mental part of being the closer. Wants it down, he gets it there, gets away from LaRue, a strikeout, and Perez can't get the first out. How about that? Baker advances to first on a strikeout.
That's that kind of game, but I'll tell you one thing. Watch this ball right there, swing and miss. But I mean, when LaRue throws it, look at the backup. You got Albert, you got Lopez, and you had Ludwig. Everybody was in a line to make sure that ball didn't get by and the runner could go into scoring position. It's never easy, is it?
Well, Pujols is not going to hold the runner on. And Amezaga will be the hitter. Here's a guy that can bunt a little bit. Has done so in the past. So Pujols will play in front of the runner.
Well, Albert may jockey back and forth and make him take a deeper lead. But sometimes that gets him at a better angle to make the turn at second base and head on to third.
We saw that a couple of weeks ago. We'll see the runner back up. Pitch at 95 miles an hour, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Why would you be showing bunt? It's a 2-run lead.
Well, we saw with the Cardinals owning a 2-run lead the other night, they tried to steal second.
Well, but they weren't supposed to.
Right, so why are you showing bunt? Popped up in foul territory. Gloss, did he make the catch? No. Close play. As Turris was there as well. That's strike 2.
Gloss going over here. The tarp will come into play as he's reaching for it. As Turris never really got there. It's usually a much better angle for the shortstop, but with a left-handed batter, he's playing closer toward the second base bag, and a reason why he couldn't get there.
RBI double by Gloss looms large here. Tying run at the plate. In the air, opposite way. This should be the first out. Mather, plenty of room, makes the catch. 1 away. Cardinals trying to hold on with this 2-run lead. Our Budweiser great player of the game. Budweiser, the great American lager. We'll turn to Adam Kennedy. Got things going, Al, early on for the Cardinals with a couple of sac flies.
Well, had 2 hits. Here's the first sac fly. Then he comes up with his second sac fly. And then another base hit. So, been in the middle of things.
Fastball misses out to Wes Helms. Helms singled and scored back in the 8th.
He led off the 8th inning off McClellan with kind of a bloop hit into right. He could end it with a double play.
Pujols is holding the runner.
Good slider there.
A little bit sharper here in the second inning with that slider. Inning started with a strikeout, but then Baker would reach on a slider and a ball that got away. 1-1 pitch.
This game here, you know, the Cardinals have scored 6 runs, but they probably should have another 3 or 4 at the very least. They've stranded 12. They've banged out 18 hits.
Pitch at 97, 2-2.
The hit total is 18-8 in the favor of the Cardinals. And yet here we are with a potential tying run at home plate.
Double play could end it. The 2-2 pitch. Another strikeout. And there's 2 away. Second strikeout in the inning.
Dave Duncan will come out and talk to Perez after he throws a slider and gets him to go swing at a ball that clearly totally out of the strike zone.
That's why you rack up over 1,000 strikeouts as a team.
And Ramirez, you know, and one of the most exciting players. Reached base and scored in the first inning on an error. RBI single in the 5th. Hit by a pitch and scored in the 8th. He was the hero last night with a 3-run home run.
He represents the tying run.
I'm sure that's why Dave Duncan went out to pay a little visit. And
couple runs scored tonight. RBI single in the 5th. 2 outs, 1 out away for the Cardinals. Fastball misses outside. Luis Gonzalez on deck. If Ramirez can extend it, we'll see Gonzalez.
Ramirez is going to be a 30-30 man this year, but he also has struck out 105 times as a leadoff hitter. 97, so still plenty left in the tank. You can get it up to 98, but consistently he's more like 94, 95.
Here's a 2-0 pitch.
Just off the plate. 3-0.
Oh, he is throwing hard again tonight.
It's 3 consecutive 97-mile-an-hour pitches. But at this level, these guys can time it. That's why it's important to have location and also where that slider comes in.
3-1 pitch to Ramirez. Blew it by him. 97. You can hear the grunt of Perez all the way up here. Dolphin Stadium in Miami, and the Cardinals a strike away from taking game 3.
That was like the final pitch he threw and getting the save on the first game of this series. That ball that just explodes up and in, virtually unhittable, or you swing through it or you pop it up.
The fans on their feet. 3-2 pitch to Ramirez. Just missed. So the tying runs are on. The potential winning run comes to the plate. Luis Gonzalez.
Now LaRue will go out and talk to him. He wanted that ball down and away. They didn't want to run the risk of leaving it in the middle half and have an easier shot to hit it to the shortest part of the field, left field. And he threw it down and away, just missing.
Luis Gonzalez, 40-year-old.
Closing out a brilliant career, 353 home runs.
Back in 2001, he had 57 home runs, 142 RBIs. 15 last year, 15 the year before.
Approaching center doubles.
Outfield deep with 2 outs. Gonzalez takes strike 1.
Gonzalez has 2,575 hits. He's got 1,429 RBIs. And he's been a World Series hero. But who's going to win this battle?
Cantu on deck. The 0-1 pitch with 2 runners on and a 2-run lead. Almost hit him.
I'm saying it hit him, but I think what it is they heard that it maybe hit LaRue's shin guards.
Hit the umpire.
Umpire's shin guard.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Gonzalez, he was hit by a pitch, he'd be still down.
Yes, he would.
Hobbling to first.
That would be the clear-cut indication he was hit by the pitch. The 1-1. Gonzalez swings and misses. Strike 2. So again, the Marlins down to their final strike tonight. Gonzalez is fly to right. He's lined out to left, grounded into a double play with the bases loaded. There's the great catch by Mather back in the 8th last time.
Got to do with your fastball. That's your best pitch.
The 1-2. Gonzalez pops it up left side. Long way to go for Torres, and he's got it. The Cardinals hold on. And what a job by Chris Perez. Another 5-out save. And the Cardinals win it. And a chance to take 3 or 4 tomorrow night. 18 hits this evening. 6-4 our final. Stay with us. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is coming up.
Cardinals win 6-4. The game is over, but I myself, Jim Hayes, and Jack Clark are here to break it down. A 5-out save for Chris Perez. Jack, real quick, is he the closer now?
5-out save, that's old school, and it's good to see. For me, he's a closer. He wants it. I give him the ball tomorrow again.
All right, we'll have more on that in just a bit. More with Jack Clark. Plus, the Olympics are in full swing, and the Cardinals are trying to run rings around the fish in Florida. We'll break down Game 3 of this 4-game set. Plus, the former Marlin, Braden Looper, was on the mound. Was he good as gold? And we'll take you inside the Cardinals clubhouse in Miami for player reaction and Tony La Russa's post-game comments. We've got just as many medals, gold medals, as the French swimming team. It's U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, and it's coming up next.
Welcome to U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live.
Big play in the game. Bottom 8. Cards up 5-4. Bases loaded. Chris Perez gets Josh Willingham to hit into the 5-3 double play. Perez keeps the lead intact, and the Cardinals win it 6-4. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside our FSN Midwest studios in St. Louis for the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Alongside former Cardinal slugger Jack Clark, I'm Jim Hayes, and coming up, we'll break down what Braden Looper did tonight against his former team, and we'll take you back to Florida for player reaction and Tony La Russa's post-game comments. Plus, we'll give you updates on Chris Carpenter's condition, and we'll introduce you to the Cardinals' top pick back in 2007, Pete Kozma. And remember, you can get involved in Cardinals Live if you have any questions or comments about the Cardinals. Then it's U.S. Cellular text time for you. Send us a text message at 37289. Remember, include your first name and where you're texting from in your message. Standard text messaging rates do apply. Let's head back to Miami. Brent Stover is standing by with Troy Gloss, our Mid-America Chevrolet Player of the Game.
Pat, thanks. That was one heck of a hard-fought victory for you guys tonight.
Yeah, you know, we were able to get a lot of hits. We were struggling to score some runs early, but, you know, guys came up big late, and we were able to scratch across enough. And then, you know, Chris came in and did a fantastic job. Guys pitching, guys coming off the bench, guys in the lineup, seemed like everybody contributed in an important spot. Yeah, you know, I mean, this was definitely a team effort, no doubt. You know, I mean, like I said, everybody came in, did a good job. And we were able to, you know, Chris came up with a great pitch in the 8th inning, be able to get Willingham to ground out. And then, you know, other than that, you know, Felipe stepped up, got a triple, you know, had a triple, and got a guy in scoring position there late in the 9th inning. We were able to tack another one on. And a chance to get 3 of 4 as we move into middle August. These are important. No doubt, no doubt. At this point, we just need to win as many games as we possibly can against whoever we're playing, wherever we're playing. You know, we can't worry about the other teams, you know, what any other teams are doing. Just like I said, just try to tally as many wins as possible. Final question. You were on base 5 times, 4 hits. These are fun, aren't they? You can really relax and enjoy a night like this individually. Well, as long as we won, yeah. You know, and tonight we won, so we'll enjoy this one. Appreciate it. Thank you. Troy Gloss, Pat, back to you.
4 hits on base 5 times for Troy Gloss. That's fun, but so was playing defense. Gloss had a nice defensive game. There were a bunch of big plays defensively that kept the Cardinals in this.
Well, when you have the leading defense in the league, you don't mind letting them hit the baseball. And you know, it showed tonight. Chris Perez is starting to learn in the big leagues. You don't have to strike everybody out. You know, let them hit the baseball. You got guys out there that can catch it and make plays. And with that type of defense, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And pitchers love that, knowing that, and that the guys they can miss their pitches. Guys will make the plays. Big double play there for Chris Perez. 5 out. Old school victory, and great job by Looper tonight.
A little bit of everything. Some defense, some good pitching tonight, some timely hitting as well. For more analysis, how about a view from the booth? It's back to Florida, and the men who just called the game, Dan McLaughlin and Al Roboski. Guys.
Okay, Jim, thanks. And as Jack just said, defense such an important part of the game, in particular with this Cardinals team, and we saw some great defense tonight.
Well, that's it. And Jack kind of alluded to it, too. When you have a top-notch defense, let them hit the ball. But this was unbelievable. As you see this ball in the grass, and it rolls all the way into fair territory. Albert, so alert, picks it up. How about Schumacher? Early in the game, hauls that one in at a crucial time. Little juggling act right there, but they turn a double play behind Kennedy's heads up. Here's another race to the bag as Albert takes the ball away from the second baseman covering first base. They get the out. And this was Mather late in the ball game as he saves that ball from probably being tying the score up there. Is it wouldn't have been a home run, but it would have definitely been an extra base hit and drive in 1 or 2 runs.
Now, how about the confidence for Tony La Russa now in Chris Perez? Another 5-out save, 33 pitches tonight, and at times, you know, with that fastball, he can be dominating.
Well, you know, sometimes it's not so much the courage or the faith in it; it's your last alternative. And that was kind of with Wainwright in 06 when you were forced to use him as a closer. He got the job done, and it looks like Chris Perez is proving that he can handle the pressure too.
Fun ball game tonight, Jim. Let's send it back to you.
All right, let's check out the highlights of the Cardinal win you just saw here. Bottom first, 1-out runners on first, and Jorge Cantu grounds it foul. Watch this thing. It's foul, right? It's foul, right? No, Albert stays with it because it goes fair. You're out of there. Kind of a weird play. We go to the fourth. Adam Kennedy, fly ball, good enough to score. Troy Glass in third, tie game. Kennedy's 26 RBI. Bottom fifth now. 1 out, bases loaded for Hanley Ramirez. And he's going to kind of fist one to right center, and nobody's going to get this one. It drops, a run scores, and it's 2-1 Marlins. Ramirez 54th RBI. To the top of the sixth, 1 out, bases loaded for Adam Kennedy. And another sac fly. It's not sexy, but it gets the job done. That'll score a run. We're tied at 2. We go to the seventh, 2 out, bases loaded for Jason LaRue. Jason getting the spot start in for Yachty tonight, and he comes through in a big way. Goes opposite field. He'll knock in a couple of runs with a double. Gloss is going to try to score, and he's dead meat, but the Cards take a 4-2 lead. Bottom eighth now, no outs. Runners at first and second for Luis Gonzalez. He gives it a ride to deep left. Joe Mather, watch this, get up and robs him of a home run. Mather flashing the leather. Then later in the eighth, there's 1 out. Runners at first and second. Oh, that's worth another look. Nice extension. He's a tall guy anyway, and he used all of his 6'4" frame. Then in the eighth, Mike Jacobs, and that's a double to right field. Ramirez is going to score, and the Marlins cut that Cardinal lead to 5-4. Still in the eighth, 1 out, bases loaded. Josh Willingham. Chris Perez gets the inning-ending double play, keeps it at 5-4. The Cards end up winning it 6-4. And there are the numbers for you. Cardinals win it 6-4. How about Braden Looper? You almost forgot because of the heroics by Chris Perez, but Looper, 7 solid innings. Looper, this is the 4th straight game where he's gone 7 innings and given up 2 fewer runs, or 2 runs or fewer over those 4 starts. 18 hits by the Cardinals, just the 6 runs, dating back to when Stats Inc. First started keeping the stats. That's the most hits and fewest runs scored in a regulation game. Whatever the totals tell you, though, Jack Clark, the Cardinals win.
Well, you'll take that line score every day of the week. The hitting coach loves to see that. 18 hits up there. You know, they punched across just enough runs. And a key tonight, they didn't score early, but they scored late, and good sign. Bats were busy.
Troy Glass on base, 5 times 4 for 4 in this one. Let's take a gander at the NL wild card standings. And there's Milwaukee on top since the Cardinals win tonight. They are now 3.5 games back in the wild card standings. New York 5 games back, and beyond that, Florida drops back a little bit. Houston not out of anything, nor are the Dodgers. So just some thoughts about tonight's game, Jack. Jason LaRue gets the start tonight. Yadier Molina, who has played very well in this series, and of course all season long needs a breather once in a while. And LaRue came through in a big way.
Well, he did, you know, and boy, what a tough situation. You know, he hasn't been playing, and but boy, did he have a game tonight with Looper out there. I mean, he put down the right fingers, and Looper hit the spots. He had movement on his pitches, and he just didn't miss many spots, and gave him a strong outing. Then he has to come up to hit, and he's got the pitcher coming up, and they have him bunt, which kind of lets him think that maybe he's not swinging the bat that well, and comes up again, and
with Looper
huge.
On deck.
With Looper on deck.
And they're bunting for Looper.
So it could have been a little knock to him, could have hurt his feelings a little bit. Yeah, and then he comes right back here. And
the seventh inning, we're thinking, are they going to pinch hit for him? No. Nope.
He's walking up to home plate, not knowing, well, hey, he's going to get the call and turn around and come back to the dugout. Walks up there and gets the really the game winner right there, and a huge hit and really tough. I mean, you don't realize how tough that situation is right there when you don't play, and those type of scenarios come up, and the importance of these games this late in the season right now. Wow, that's a great job by him in a tough situation, and my hat's off to him because I know how tough that can be right there.
Lou had to be thinking when he went up to the plate before the double, they're going to call me back. They just had me bunt for the pitcher.
That's right.
But it did look like LaRue, and Dan and Al were talking about this, had some problems handling the relievers, just wasn't right behind the plate. It didn't cost the Cardinals, however.
Well, he's trying to get comfortable back there. He's been out a long time, and Yadi's been hitting the ball so well and playing such great defense, and he needs a day off once in a while. So that's what I'm saying. That whole thing, not only my hat's off to him offensively coming up in that situation. He got the bunt down also when he was asked to, and that's not easy. And then to come in there and catch a ball game, I mean, they got the win,
He told us on the pregame show he shaves his legs because he finds that comfortable. So
well,
that's the only thing I question about Jason LaRue.
That,
We've got a lot more to get to on this edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Coming up, we'll announce our King of the Hill. Could it be Braden Looper? I think you know.
That's it.
U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better. And by Pennzoil. Feel the clean.
And more on tonight's Cardinal victory, but first a little trip down to the farm. 2007 first-round pick Pete Kozma is on the fast track in the Cardinals system. After playing most of this season in low-A Quad Cities, the shortstop was recently promoted to high-A Palm Beach. We recently caught up with Kozma in Quad Cities. As the Cards' top draft choice in 2007 and the 18th overall, the expectations are high for Pete Kozma.
I told Jeff Looney, he reminds me, I played with the Tigers in '78 when Alan Trammell was 20-year-old shortstop in the big leagues. And I said, if I had to, pick somebody that he reminds me of, it'd be Alan.
Kozma has all the tools, and he's starting to put it together in his second year of professional ball. Last year wasn't as smooth. As a teen fresh out of high school in Oklahoma, Kozma struggled, hitting a combined .233 over 3 stops in his first year as a pro. Kozma admits the pressure of being a top draft pick got to him.
I put a lot of pressure on myself. Other people are telling me I'm going to be in St. Louis and all. So, well, I was in Tennessee last year. I went to New York for a little bit, and now I'm here. So I'm just going to take it one step at a time.
Kozma has posted solid numbers this season, but he did have to make an adjustment along the way.
He had a very good month in April, starting out, struggled a little bit in May. I think he hit under 200 in May, and I think what happened is guys were pitching him inside, and instead of him trying to pull the ball, he was trying to force it the other way, and he wasn't hitting the ball with authority. He's worked at it extremely hard.
That's all part of the game. I mean, I guess I'm just one of those guys who's supposed to poke the ball the other way, and the guy behind me or the guy in front of me is supposed to hit the ball out of the ballpark. So.
Kozma's boyhood idol should tell you a lot about his baseball priorities. He liked Omar Vizquel for his defense. Kozma takes a lot of pride in his D, even if the fields he plays on in A-ball aren't necessarily major league quality.
A lot better than last year. I feel like I've progressed this whole year. Over the whole year, I say I've gotten a lot better. I've gotten better feel for it.
He always knows what's going on. He's in the right position. You never have to look up and say, in, back. He always looking to me to see where do I need to be? Where does the infield need to be? He's in the right position on cutoffs, and he's just got a good idea. You can tell he's had some good training and teaching along the way.
Kozma was just promoted to high A, and he hopes it won't be long before he finds his way to St. Louis. He says what he's doing now will prepare him for the big leagues.
Can't imagine the big game being too much different other than the guys being older and more experienced and stuff like that. Just just 20 more games than I'm playing now. So.
Like a coach on the field and as a player wise beyond his years is how they describe Kozma. And the numbers are quite good too. Look at the numbers in Quad Cities anyway. .284 batting average, pretty good on base percentage. They think he's going to develop power as he progresses. Right now adjusting to high A ball at Palm Beach, but they say this guy has a legitimate glove and a chance to be a very good offensive player. Just now learning, Jack, how to sort of pull the baseball.